right.
Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, hopefully my internet issues are solved. I apologize for the delay, everybody. On Facebook, you can look me up. Nelson the Gen on Twitter. We have Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective here. Thank you for being here. Super fan Adam Shawhan. Thank you for being here. Vinny Art, thank you for being here. And hopefully my internet issues are not as fucky as they were a minute ago. So how's everybody doing tonight?
We're hanging in there. I think doing all right.
Oh, shit.
The Guinea Pig Collective would like to apologize for trying to assimilate you before you even started your stream.
Those guinea pigs do that, my friend.
No,
that's why his internet went down. We had our cyborg guinea pigs in his house. Yeah, we had cyborg guinea pigs in your house. They were chewing the wires. You'll probably notice that your Ethernet cable is in shreds.
It actually is a little bit, but just on the outside, the inner wiring is still good, and that's what I got plugged in. So yeah, something chewed on it.
The little son of a bitch. I told him to do the job thoroughly.
Extraterrestrial,
they didn't do it well.
They chew through everything.
Because yes, they teleported back to the Guinea mothership. Oh shit. So tonight I wanted to talk about extraterrestrials visiting Earth. Like I said in the pre-show thing, I think we're past the question of are they out there? Of course they're out there, but I wanted everybody's opinions on who's here, what they're doing with the non-humans. And Tommy, if you want to start again and tell that story, you were saying something about an Air Force buddy. Can you start again? I apologize.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I've talked to a few different people that said they've seen stuff. So first off, aliens are real. The kid that sells chiclets on the street corner is real. Oh, wait a minute. We got to get back to the Air Force buddy. I'm sorry. So the Air Force buddy is somebody I worked with while I was working in a place that did Sea-Doos and jet skis and quads and stuff like that. So this guy was actually a refueler in the air for the Air Force part-time. He was like a reserve type guy. And he says some of the things that he's seen, he can't really go into detail because they know if he's talking. So, but he said they are real and don't let nobody tell you that they're not. But he refused to go in any more detail than that. Also, my guitar player that I'd been playing with for a great number of years in a couple different bands, he had seen a couple of the paramedical type of shit fly right over his head. So, I mean, these things are definitely out there. I've never actually physically seen one myself, but I've seen some weird shit in the night sky that was kind of hard to explain. But because it was so, I'm not sure the word. It wasn't like definitive, and I couldn't say for sure whether it was or wasn't. It was just one of those things that it was odd, and it led a little bit more credence to that in my mind, especially from all the stories I heard from other people.
Mm-hmm. What did it look like, Tommy?
It looked like a type of light that the light. It was a light in the sky, but it didn't look like it belonged there, and it was moving very fast. But I mean, I know when you look up in the night sky, if you're seeing an aircraft. And if it's moving at the right angle, it will look like it's moving a lot faster than what it is. But this didn't look like a normal aircraft in the way the lighting was. So I'm not 100% sure what it was. Like I said, I couldn't get a definitive take on what I really thought it was. I'd only seen it for maybe about 4 or 5 seconds at the most. And I seen it while I was in a car moving. So it's really hard to definitively say what it was. But it did look very abnormal.
Okay. All right. So you definitely saw something unidentified that you couldn't write off as a blimp, a helicopter, an airplane, or Aurora Borealis or some shit like that.
Exactly.
Okay. Damn. All right. So you might have seen something. All right. And you definitely think, do you think they're here? Do you think they're checking us out secretly, or what's your take on that? I want to get everybody's take, go around the horn. What do you think, Tommy?
I definitely think that they're checking it out. It's the same way that we would go out and check a civilization that's a little bit less advanced than we are in this country, or any other country for that matter. When when the British were going over into Africa, checking out some of the tribes there that were like underdeveloped. I mean, they were like in awe at how primitive and savage they are. So if you've got a civilization and a culture from outside of our galaxy that is coming in and watching us, they're probably looking at us like, wow, look at these cave people. Remember when our ancestors were like them? Don't tell me you can't think that that's happening. I mean, and then you got all the stories that are being written down. And I've heard that just like, there's a certain type of conveyance that happens when people are sleeping, and maybe they get, things that are from out of this galaxy, across space and time, and they get ideas in their head and they turn it into movies. And I truly do think that maybe some of those influence are what influenced George Lucas and some of the aliens that he wrote into Star Wars. Because there's been stories about how Sasquatch is tied to UFO landing sites. Because there's a lot of stories where they say the same time that people see Sasquatch sightings or the same times that they see UFO sightings. And we've never found any kind of bones or anything like that to definitively say if there's Sasquatch there. And then we've never been able to definitively say that they're not there either. So it's just very odd. I think that there may actually be a connection there. It's a good possibility. So you have that too.
Do you think George Lucas might have even gotten inspiration from like a psychic extraterrestrial force, like maybe like feeding him little snippets of data, or maybe he talked to people in the Air Force or Navy who knew about extraterrestrials and maybe fed him data or something? What do you think?
I could confirm. Kathleen Kennedy is not human. She's an alien. And when she opens her mouth, that shit breath is actually sound waves and particles of shit and bad ideas that went inside of George's head. And and they told him to sell to Disney.
Hans Cock, what's up, Chris Fist? Thanks for coming out. Hans Scott, can you confirm or deny? I said we're going no holds bars. Hey. Kathleen Kennedy's disgusting grilled cheese pussy that when it opens up.
Oh shit.
What?
He's not going to answer that, is he?
Things that make you go.
Sorry.
It broke up a little bit.
There.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I heard something about a grotesque cheese covered pussy.
Or Hans Cocky.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know this for a fact. Kathleen's pussy is the type of pussy that will turn you soy if you get involved with it. Stay away from it. Jesse Ventura will tell you ain't no man if you go in there.
So I had a coworker who served as a Navy medic. He worked in the sick bay, and he was telling us disgusting stories about how the women in the Navy are generally prostitutes, and like he had to perform a gynecological exam, and all he said was 2 words that made the entire room vomit, and that was purple pop rocks.
What the?
Sorry, the grilled cheese sandwich reminded me of it.
I mean, I was just going with the alien thing, thinking, purple pop rocks. I'm like, man, I wonder what, Michael Obama does to Mr. Obama.
You ever seen the blue waffle?
Blue waffle. That dude has a penis.
That dude's got a bigger dick than me.
Holy shit.
They should rename that song instead of "Dude Looks Like a Lady." Should be
So did I
Dude
break
Dresses
up
Like a
talking
Lady.
about the grilled cheese sandwich?
Yes. It was all cut out. All I heard was Kathleen Kennedy's disgusting grilled cheese sandwich vagina, and everybody just sat there. We're like, "What?"
I was nodding and trying to listen.
I was saying, can Hans Cock confirm? Can Hans Cock
confirm or
the
deny?
status of her vagina being? Oh,
I'll just say I confirm her
yeah.
pop rocks are purple and covered in cheese whiz.
Oh my god. It's like that scene in Stand By Me where the fat guy ate the X-Lax.
Yeah. Dripping with mayonnaise. Yuck.
God.
Oh man, it's like we sound like the recent catch in the Project Veritas.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God, that guy is a.
How about that other catch? The bombshell news I dropped yesterday or early this morning. Rick Mignogna and all the dickheads who still are on the bandwagon of he's a good guy. No, he's not. Any grown man who's in his 60s who is kissing and cuddling minors is a fucking creep. I rest my case.
I'll check that one off my bucket list.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm not wearing any pants. I've been sitting here for 3 hours with 5 ladies on panel. Oh, oops, I dropped my camera in my lap. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Chris, I just want to say this though, Chris. That bucket that you're crossing off, make sure it's not the same one that you were throwing up and thinking about Kathleen Kennedy's cheese curdled pussy.
Cheese curdled grilled cheese, mind you.
Yeah. When you pull apart the bread.
Yeah, dude.
Dripping with at least 1 full gallon of mayonnaise.
Oh,
Guys, you gotta stop.
That's some nasty rye, yo. I'm just saying.
oh my God. Oh yeah, well it's like shitting in each other's mouth like McDonald's soft serve.
Listen, you guys are making it hard to eat this mozzarella ball like an apple.
Wait a minute. Isn't that where pumpernickel comes from? It's Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, I don't want to pump her nickel.
No, you pump her for a nickel.
Oh, what? She pays you a nickel? Oh God, I'm sorry, Nelson.
Aliens are real. They're pouring in over the border with fentanyl.
Well, you were talking earlier, and you said, you're like, back when we were like that, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, let's see. Yeah, I could see that. I really, really could. Where they're like, hey, do you remember when we were dumbasses like these guys too? My thought is like they're observing because they know how retarded we are. They're like, oh, hell no. Where do you think the phrase never go full retard came from? I'm thinking aliens. They're just like, that was their thing. Look, we're like an American Dad when Roger found out he was the crash test dummy. We're the crash test dummies. I'm just saying.
Do you suppose that they're watching us like people watch like that stupid like a Housewives of Georgia or wherever?
Yeah, we're reality TV.
Yeah, we're like reality TV for them, and they're just watching like laughing their ass off. Look at these retards, especially if they're watching everything that's going on right now.
Well, if you're like Jens, man, too, it'd be like the Impossible Burgers. Like, can you believe they're eating that shit? Like, even the gray aliens know not to drink fucking almond milk. So come on now.
I have a theory. I have a tinfoil hat theory about all that. I think they're intentionally doing that to us. Look at the physiology of what one would consider a gray alien. What does it look like to you?
I was gonna say Biden, Joe Biden.
It looks like
somebody that was inside Kathleen Kennedy.
Nancy Pelosi's vagina.
Oh no! It looks like somebody who saw Nancy Pelosi's vagina, but no.
Yeah, true that. You melted afterwards. Yeah.
It looks like what we're being genetically engineered to become. I don't think grays are aliens. I think they're possibly, they're engineering the human race to become that. If you look at that, if you look at the physiology of men from the past 50 years, 60 years,
low testosterone.
Yep. Low testosterone.
Transgender transformers.
Yeah. And look at what they're doing to women.
Hasbro.
Yeah. And the same goes for women. They're turning women into these emasculating women, into these masculated or somewhat masculine. You guys can hear me? Yeah. They look like, yeah. You're cutting out a little, but yeah. But
we could actually hear you say a sentence that time more than
Domo arigato.
Right. Well, Chris, I was thinking on what you're saying too. It's real funny how remember when we had lipstick lesbians in the Bull Dykes, right? Okay, fine. And again, I have very many friends and family members that are of the equation we are talking. So back off, bitches. So how is it that we went from that to where we are that they may, I know feminists hate men, But if they hate men so much, why are they turning women into wannabe men and men into wannabe women? And it ends there. The math equations just go wonky.
No, do a century of that now. If we've seen what 20 plus years have done to it, now imagine 100 years. We're gonna start seeing men that look like the general physiology of a man will look similar to this like gender neutral state, right. And the same thing with women. And that's basically what the Greys were. They were these physically effete-looking things with oversized cerebral cortexes, big brains or whatever.
Megan
but they were
Rapinoe from the women's national soccer team.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 14-year-old boys. So that's pretty much what the future holds. Seriously, look at we laugh, but look at the soy in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What was that dude there that just called out? The main heel that's out there right now. How could you put that guy over? I think I could kick his ass.
Something
or Draven's boy, that Darby guy.
Yeah,
Darby. Yeah, they weigh about as much as my leg, and I'm not this font of masculinity. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, my cock weighs more than them put together.
That guy is a mound of estrogen.
But I mean, you ask if aliens exist, right? Well, Frank Cox says all you humans look like aliens to me.
Well, yeah. Going back, way back. You said that are they watching us? Yes, they're watching us like a drunk parent who's supposed to be watching kids in a pool, and we're just all drowning. They go over to Twitter and they go, "Yeah, we're not saving these fuckers."
No. Yeah. Nelson, is your internet hiccuping or?
He's muted right now, so he might be.
Can you? I'm just kind of listening. No.
Okay. If worst case, Nelson, if there's something you want us
in the private chat,
right?
I think you can reboot and come back on, and it will keep the stream alive.
We had him do his router before we went live, and he shut off everything. He's having real bad internet problems, Chris.
Oh no, I'm sorry, man.
He's having Tommy internet problems. He's Ethernet plugged in now and everything, man. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff backstage. That's why we started kind of.
I'm enjoying it. I'll listen. Yeah, I apologize for that. I'll listen and laugh and make the occasional puke noise when you say something gross, but you guys just keep talking without me.
But if there's a question you want us to answer because you're beep booping and stuff, just type it in either the regular comments or the private chat because we can see that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Just so you know, that way if there's something you want to ask us, then
I'm trying to find
that way too.
Chat now. So
was Nelson beeping and booping before I popped on, or was it the extra?
Yeah. Oh, he was beeping and booping before. But he was asking us too, if we've had any experiences. Actually, Frankie had an experience.
If everybody just kind of wants.
You were actually coming through that time.
I think it's the lag that's getting him though.
Yeah.
He's probably hearing it.
Okay, I tell you what, Nelson, we're gonna not talk for 10 seconds, and then you talk. Okay, so starting now.
I think he might have.
Okay, if everybody just horn, Vinny go next, then Chris, then Adam, and just listen and get in the.
Okay. I was just gonna say, Frankie actually last time he was in Sicily, he was out. There was a group of people. I mean, a good number, maybe 50 people were out there, and it was pretty late at night too. I don't know if it was maybe 2 a.m. or something, and all of them spotted something in the sky. It was just sitting there floating and flashing lights and shit, and it wasn't like a helicopter or a plane or anything. It was making no noise whatsoever, and then the lights got really bright, and it went off in the one direction at like the Flash, as that quick, just boom, gone. So they all saw something, and everybody was freaked the fuck out. So
Chris.
I got a weird, I don't know what kind of, if I would describe it as alien or what, but it was definitely an X-Files episode. One of my earliest memories growing up, we had these neighbors next door that were Irish Catholics, so there was a whole bunch of them. And there were a couple of kids were my friends, and I think I was about 2 or 3 years old, and we were playing out in this field between our two houses. And it's what my sister and I refer to as the telephone man, because our childlike minds couldn't comprehend exactly what was happening.
Mhm.
But we're out playing like kickball or whatever, and all of a sudden it was as if this loud bullhorn voice just boomed out of the sky, like out of nowhere. Like I lived in a pretty suburban rural area, so it's not like it was like an office plant or like a intercom system or something, but it sounded like that. And I have forests in my backyard, like dense forests that just would go on for miles. And we just heard like this unintelligible voice, this guy's voice, like nobody could understand what the hell it was saying. But all of a sudden, I just remember the parents in my house and the parents next door opened the door. They didn't even come outside. It was the weirdest thing. They were like screaming at us to come inside, like run, get inside. And we were running. And I remember like I had this small hill, and I was like crying because I couldn't get there in time or whatever. And my dad ended up like doing like a military grabbed me like a football, ran in and grabbed us or whatever. And then like I don't know, a few hours later, we were allowed to go back outside. And one of the neighbor's kid like ran into dog shit or whatever, and his mother was cleaning the sneakers. And as we're outside, these 2 Chinook helicopters, and the only reason why I remember they were Chinook helicopters was because they made a weird sound when they flew, and they were really low to the ground, just buzzing the trees above us. And they had double propellers, and they were flying overhead, and it was military. And that was when I learned what a Chinook helicopter was. Because what the heck, And the next thing I know, like years later or whatever, I talked to my sister about it. She's like, yeah, what the hell was that? It was like a voice on the telephone screaming in our heads and all this stuff. And neither one of my parents and our neighbors' parents, nobody acknowledged it. They're like, what are you talking about? Like that never, what? And yet all the kids remembered it perfectly. So yeah, that's my X-Files moment.
Nice.
that's when the guy with the tail
Fucking awesome.
impregnated all the women in the town.
Could you hear me then?
Yes.
Hell yeah, I got a weird one. I'll take Nelson.
What
by
about
the
you,
point
super
to have-
fan?
So what I got is one day when we meet up, I'll take you by. So the weirdest thing I ever had happen, I was driving and about to go over these train tracks over in Mishawaka, and no train, no nothing. As I'm half going across the tracks, the fucking arms just come down right on top of the car as I'm driving.
Oh,
And
damn.
they're not made of wood, right? You don't just blow through them like fucking Dukes of Hazzard. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It busted the windshield and shit, whatever. I get through, and there's a fucking train that was not there 30 seconds ago. Like there, and that motherfucker was just flying. It was the weirdest shit I ever had. Now, whether that's aliens or, other dimensions, kicking in and whatnot, it was just some weird shit. Cause there was no, literally, I was going over the tracks when the arms came down. There was no, because we were taught to look left, look right before you even go across the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, would you say that it's either a case of the train was displaced in time, or did you get displaced in time?
Exactly. I don't know. That's the whole thing. Cause I know it happened. And then I was like, the hell just happened. And it was, looked left, looked right, start driving. Next thing you know, boom, here comes that damn arm. Well, I drove right through it, glass everywhere. So as soon as that happened, I pulled off to, it's not like you're going that fast. You go from stopping to going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I pulled off to the right, got out real quick, and there's the fucking train going. And I'm thinking that motherfucker was not there, 5 seconds ago when I started going. You know, their arms weren't down or nothing. And that's just like one of the weird incidents where it really makes me wonder. And I've had weird shit with the diabetes, with low blood sugar, and I've not ever really passed out a bunch of times. There's been a few times when I was a child, obviously 9, 10, that shit happened. And I remember I was in the ER, but it wasn't like I was in the ER. Now, keep in mind, like I said, I was suffering from low blood sugar, but it scarred my brain. Like I remember it like it happened yesterday, you know, and it was like I was being attacked by these weird fucking things. I was punching doctors.
Oh, damn.
But again, I'm just saying, you know, I wasn't in my right mind. I've had it where my blood dropped on me. I put one sock on. I went to put my other sock on. My wife looked at me and was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Putting my sock on." And I'm just sitting there. She looked at me and goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." No, I'm not okay. You know? And then I checked it and I was like 45. You know, it had dropped, you know, before we went down for breakfast and shit. We were in a hotel. And I mean, like, I've got weird, and whether that's alien or not, no. But are there other things that while I'm in that state of mind that I do pick up on? That, you know, is where I'm going with. And I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying it could be. You know, if there are other dimensions or other shit out there, maybe is that when you actually see it, not when you're eating mushrooms, kind of thing.
Yeah, like another plane of existence.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, there's questions, but it's just, you know, there's been odd things. But the train thing, that's like the creepiest shit that ever happened. Other than driving like down McKinley, off of 20, left Discount Tire and drove down a busy street, stopped on, it was McKinley. I stopped on McKinley and Grape Road in Mishawaka. I have no recollection of this because, again, I worked at Discount. My blood sugar had bottomed out. Somehow I safely turned right, drove all the way down, miles down to the end of 20, and got in the left turn lane, turned my blinker on. And then a cop at some point came and talked to me, and I put my car in park. And then they did the ER thing and got my blood sugar up and shit like that. That only ever happened one other time at Kodak when I worked for Eastman Kodak. But I didn't go very far. I like stepped outside to have a cigarette and same shit. Blood had dropped and I ended up like right down a little ways. But because of my uniform, they all knew who I was and I had to die, you know, diabetic necklace on and shit. So, and again, that's just with the diabetes and low blood sugar, just a couple weird things. But I mean, you know, questions are out there. If we don't ask them or, you know, look into it, who knows?
That's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, you also take into account all the instances where they talk about people have gotten. We can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tommy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I thought you were going to say something.
No. You said, "Can we hear you?" We said, "Yeah." Then we all shut up because as soon as you work, we try to let you talk, brother. You know, from when you are on the same plane.
I'm sorry. It's Sam Lag. Quick. Yeah,
that's like a minute worth of lag. Holy crap.
When I was a little kid, go, Tommy. Don't worry about it.
So, tell your story. When you were a kid.
2 1,000, 3 1,000.
Okay, when I was a little kid, I hadn't seen any alien movies. I hadn't seen Star Wars yet. My parents wouldn't let me watch it. About age 6, every morning we'd do family worship on the weekdays, and I would tell them that 5 days a week for like last night I went to my ET school and the aliens showed me things and we played games and they did tests on me and they just laughed and went, "Oh, Neil's big imagination." But I'm wondering if I have like repressed memories and stuff really did happen to me at night for 3 years there. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Dude.
That's a very good possibility. There's been a lot of people that have talked about stuff like that and they've gone to see hypnotherapists that actually were able to draw those memories out. I mean, that kind of touches on what I was going to actually talk about. It's the idea that people get these ideas and they get these memories implanted in them from outside of our universe. And like I said earlier, like I really do believe that some of these people that have written books and have done movies, they've gotten these ideas from outside outside influences. I mean, they
Well-
talk about some of the people in Hitler's crew who had gotten instructions from outside of our universe to start building some of the weirdest shit that you ever seen. You think about it. Nobody had jet engines before until all of a sudden these people that supposedly who were in contact with aliens working for Hitler suddenly had them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my here's a weird one. Like I studied psychology when I went to university. I learned all about like how like the REM state of why, you know, like what dreams are and all that stuff. Your dreams don't exist in your long-term memory. They actually exist in your short-term memory. That's why you forget your dreams after you wake up. And the only way that you remember them is if you continually rehearse them. And eventually they get stored in your long-term memory if you like write it down or you continually, rehearse it. Revisit the memory essentially. Yeah. I don't know why, but I have a dream, or I had a dream when I was like, again, 4 or 5 years old, really, really young, like before first grade. And it's the weirdest thing where it's very short, like a little snippet of a dream, but I was lying on this like blue cottony thing or whatever inside this tunnel that was like a half dome or like an arch filled with water. And the roof or the ceiling of the tunnel was almost like cloud-like, like bluish light. And this like face popped out of it, like those faces from Mortal Kombat, the trees, you know, the screaming trees.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of it screaming, it was just like looking at me, and it was all up like unimpressed, like angry. And it just scared the shit out of me, and it woke me up. I don't know why. Almost 50 years later, I can still remember that dream.
I had like a reoccurring one too that was very strange, but there was a lot of wolves in it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminded me of that scene in Fire in the Sky with Travis Walton. When the alien was like looking at him and it was all pissed off looking and shit, and he's like screaming at it, and it's like, like that. I was like, I think I've seen that before.
Oh, shit.
But I don't know. I mean, again, it could just be a weird like synapse.
Here's the thing about dreams. It's not that even like dreams that maybe are one-offs, you can actually remember them and not even realize it until the moment that something else triggers it. And I'm going to talk about like the stuff like the deja vu type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've had that before. And it actually involved my father's mother. Notice I don't say grandmother. My father's mother, who wanted me, and this was in a dream. She called me up. I picked up my mother's phone in her room, and I answered it, and I talked to her, and I told her no. I said, "You accused my father and I of coming over and stealing some portrait of her and her two, identical twin sisters." And I said, "I'm not going to help you, and don't call me again." And I hung up. The next day, I'd come downstairs and the phone rang. I go into my mother's room, pick it up, and I have the exact same thing. And it wasn't until after I picked up the phone and started talking to her that I was like, it hit me. It was like, oh shit, I had this dream last night. And I think it's the same thing with people that maybe have those type of experiences with aliens. This is that one thing that might trigger it, where it could be something as simple as them watching a documentary on aliens and something about somebody else's unique circumstances may trigger that memory for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if, and I'm going to go a little tinfoil hat here, but I mean, you guys will understand it too, but look at all the shit that we put in or the doctors put in our body. Like, right, we all had imaginations, but kids these days fucking don't. Like we had, you have imaginary friends or, we had Mr. Rogers and stuff like that, right? Like all of us had that kind of stuff, and you could have an imagination and it was okay, but man, not by today's standards.
No.
And the deja vu thing, could it also be that somewhere possibly, and this is an alien, but we did have witches, allegedly in the world, right? Maybe they weren't witches like riding a broom, but they saw shit, but they couldn't explain why. As in, like we would. I remember in middle school. I never got in trouble. I wasn't one of these kids that got in trouble or anything. I got out of middle school in 1 year. The principal, I didn't know her. Like I'd seen her a couple times, this, that, and the other. But I had a really weird fucking, basically like a dream or whatever, of her talking to me in an outfit. Now, mind you, this had not happened yet. Kind of like what Tommy was saying. And I got called into the office. I was in 7th grade. I did 3 grading periods of 7th grade and 1 grading period of 8th grade. And she called me in the office, and I'm sitting there having this conversation with her. And I asked, this is the fucked up thing. I was like, that's a nice blouse. I must have seen you in it before. And she's like, no, I just got this. And like, that's the shit she was wearing in my fucking dream.
Damn.
And I mean, like, legitimate. This isn't me making shit up. And the reason I got called in there was because halfway through the year, because when I became diabetic, I was in 4th grade. So I missed a lot of school. So I had to repeat the 4th grade. I didn't flunk, but I basically got by with like a C average. So my mom made me retake it. Okay, no problem. But in middle school, they wanted to move me back up to my normal class, you know. So yeah, that's how I got out of it. And I wasn't a troublemaker, and I wasn't in like Excel smart classes or nothing. I'm not an idiot, but you know what I mean? It was, you know, I'm not super smart either, where it was because of that. But it was because it was because I wasn't a troublemaker. Like, they over fucking shot my name because I never got in trouble, but they were trying to get the kids that were pieces of shit out of the school quick as fuck so they didn't have to deal with them. Not me, though. But yeah, that's one of the clearest ones I'd ever had. It made me remember, you know, what about witches and shit? What if it was something like, and I can't explain deja vu, you know, there's lots of different, you know, why is it all of a sudden I'll think of something? Yeah. Why is it I'll be in the gym working out, a song will play, and in my mind, I'm thinking where Draven could turn around and put Chris's head and fucking Vinny's head and Tommy's head on the video that he's doing, like, you know, shit like that. But then you'll have that where someone that has passed from years ago or even recently you hadn't thought of for a while, and all of a sudden you can hear their voice as fucking clear as day. It's just, you know, again, is that because that's the way the mind works? But I mean, I swear my grandmother's been dead for years. And I can, you know, there's those days where you'll think back and you can remember their words or a smell in the house or just something really weird that in your brain as a child, even what was permanently put in there. And then to get the access to it again, because like you said, Chris, it's not, you know, it's supposed to be short-term memory. Something when I was 8, I shouldn't vividly remember as well as I do of my youngest, my middle brother's grandmother's house. You know, and I remember it being a mansion in my eyes, even though in reality as an adult, it isn't.
Well, to clarify, like what a dream is and what the REM cycle is for your brain, you kind of have to look at, like, you know, the difference between digital and analog, right? Like a digital object is like a computer, and there's a reason why a computer has to use a terabyte or a petabyte or however many, you know, bytes for a hard drive and all this other shit, is because it literally is a digital signal is like what they call a Boolean. It's a yes or a no, a 0 or a 1, and it grabs everything or nothing. So if the human mind was a digital brain, we would literally, like, when we cross the street, we wouldn't say, like, an analog brain would go, oh, there's a car coming, back up. A digital brain would say a 1990 Ford Taurus gray moving at 65 miles per hour on a sunny day, Sunday, February 15th, you know, and do all that stuff. All that information would start, you know, filling up space in your brain. And when you go to sleep, your mind is actually collecting that information as well as what I just described the digital brain does. But it filters it out for you. It throws it in something called your subconscious. And it means the information's there, but it's not important. So don't fill up your precious brain space with useless garbage like that. Unfortunately, if you have like idiot savant syndrome or forms of autism or whatever, there's a defect where that shit actually filters through. And you get people who could like look at a New York City cityscape once for 15 seconds and fully replicate it forever, or hear a song and fully replicate it even though they never play the instrument. And that's because of that defect of switching between the digital, you know, in the subconscious analog experience. So when you sleep, your brain goes through basically a defragging state, kind of like what you defragged your old hard drives with, and it throws you in a REM cycle. And the reason why your brain is rapidly eye moving and all that stuff is that it's grabbing all of that subconscious garbage that you had collected throughout the day, and it's parsing it, and then it's making a decision. Should I keep it? Should I throw it into long term? Or should I Should I nuke it? Should I just throw it out? You know, and if I throw it out, it's gone forever. It's gone. There's no recall for that anymore. And that's so that your brain doesn't run out of disk space, essentially. So as you dream, the reason why
I do that with useless conversations.
well, but like as we what we're dreaming is actually we're consciously looking through what our subconscious brain is looking through and making those decisions, and our brain is obviously malfunctioning in the way that it interprets it, and that's why we get these weird, flitzy dreams or whatever.
Shit's crazy.
Yeah, and as you get older, it becomes less and less, efficient. That's why you get things like dementia and Alzheimer's and all these other, like the calcification of your brain, because you're losing that elasticity that your brain had when you were younger. And so if you're remembering something like things like deja vu or whatever, it means your brain saw something subconscious and moved it into your conscious, into your long-term memory. And it's really weird what it parses, what it thinks will be valuable information, because you're not going to lose that. It'll be there forever, even if you didn't consciously think about it. A smell or even just a small glimpse of like pitted granite and pine needles. All of a sudden, bam, you're instantly, awakened to a memory that was you had thought you had forgotten, but your brain had put in long-term memory from like 40 years ago. So there's that. But like what freaks me out though is when it's an entire, like it continually happens. Like your brain only has so much space. So if you're constantly getting deja vu, it means your brain's either doing something wrong or there's a lot of pertinent stuff that you're trying to push into your subconscious to forget that your brain's not letting you.
What about when you could see the future?
Well, the future is off. Like I remember reading some studies.
Well, I'll give you an example because I've done this multiple times where it's not deja vu. I would zone out.
Short-term premonition.
Yeah, it's just like a random fucking thought. Like I could be working on something, whatever, and then I'll just have a thought. I don't know, like, oh, I just came out of a movie theater and I just saw this red car go by and this hot blonde just walked by, or whatever. Just as an example, and like about a month later, it happens. Yeah.
Well, so there was a paper I remember reading about it, and I got to take that one with a grain of salt, the paper, because it was just one of many. But they were talking about premonitions or short-term precog or whatever that stuff, and they're saying that or at least the dreams that are giving you that prophetic or that that aspects or whatever is mainly a result of your brain recognizing patterns, meaning that you have seen that car before and you have seen that place before, and something like it may have happened subconsciously before, or you're understanding that patterns, like you were thinking subconsciously about something and then it bubbled up to the surface of your conscious, and that's how that manifested as a precog, because it's like you somehow remember seeing this awesome red car and you see the street and suddenly the brain says, oh yeah, there's a street there and there's going to be a red car, and you see all that information and it's nebulous. It's like a cloud that pulls it all together into a neat picture.
I don't really buy that, because it's usually like when shit like that happens, it's something completely different, something totally random, something I like out of the ordinary, like it's not, and like times that it's happened, it's not something I normally go and do, or it's not an area I'm normally in, and I'm like, oh shit, like seeing it's like a month or two ago, something like that. Sometimes it's even further away, but
what? I had a weird one just now, Vinny. I seen the ghost of Jens.
Fucking soy. Where's the manliness? Fucking soy.
And Jens is in the back room saying, "Oh, good, I fucking kill him."
I know what the fuck you're talking about. Is fucking alien. Fucking Moon Knight is fucking manly. Is fucking manly. Fuck's sake.
fucking, let me tell you something.
Wait, hold on. I got it. Fucking.
Yeah, I was like, fucking hell. I'm glad I didn't have deja vu on this bastard. Just fucking once.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm on. I'm sorry I'm late. I thought you was going off at 11 because I looked at
Yeah,
your
that's what it said on
He had
YouTube.
2 streams, Jens. Nelson's having a little bit of problems. I even made sure on Twitter because he tagged the one that we're not on.
That's what I
Right,
fucking
yeah.
thought. I fucking thought this guy was going on at 11 too. My other Jens. But he
Yeah, well,
was manly about it. He had some of that testosterone. And he didn't let no bird tell him when he should start his stream.
No, he said he was going to get a shower and that. And I was thinking, oh, he's putting back an hour. Maybe he's getting a shower with his missus.
Oh, the doc is disagreeing with you, Chris.
Yeah, that's the thing is it wasn't my theory or whatever. It was just a paper that I had read about it.
Yeah. Chris.
I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with all of the findings of that data, but it was an interesting because I know I've experienced a lot of deja vu, and it gets really unnerving when it's very precise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Well, like my phone conversation, like everything in that phone conversation that I had with my father's mother was precise. It was exact.
Wow.
Including the way that after it ended, I sat down on the edge of my parents' bed for a second, like, wow, I can't believe that just happened. And I had the exact same thing after it really did happen. It was very odd.
Oh shit.
That's why I love the vice principal part was like I'd never been in trouble, and like everybody's like, oh, it was a deja vu, or maybe you'd see, and I'm like, no, because I'd even said, oh, that's really nice. Oh, I just got it yesterday.
Well,
what the fuck? Like,
what if we combine that theory of deja vu with the Matrix and aliens? Like, what if we're all just living in a simulation that right now created by superior beings watching us in a habit trail?
Impossible.
So like Rick and Morty, where they were licking the toilet, he threw the dude in the bubble. Yeah, I got you.
Impossible, Chris, because we are planning on assimilating them. If that is the case, you will win in the end.
I think you're close, but the person who's watching is a masculine god who wants to see every fucker be masculine, and if you're not masculine, you're gonna get fucked up. And that's just nature.
Yeah. If you're not masculine enough, they're gonna make you watch Disney movies and shows on repeat.
They're gonna make you lick the cheese off of Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh,
whilst wearing a fucking The Force is Female t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, and streaming with Vic Mignogna with no pants on.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff there, Hans Cock. That was good video, sir.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, but that was a creepy motherfucker.
That he was. I love the part where he's reaching behind his computer to get something, but you see a hand on a mouse and a hand on his knee. That's not reaching behind to grab anything. I'm just saying. Not behind the computer. He's not Hans Cock. I'm just saying.
No, he's Zaphod Beeblebrox. He's got 3 arms.
We're gonna talk about that tomorrow on Vinny's stream. It'll be funny.
Oh yeah.
That is an excellent question, Nelson.
Which one?
The one in the private chat for Jens. I think that's an excellent question for Jens.
All right, let's have a read then.
Are they soy bitches, Jens? The gray aliens?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even think there is aliens. I think it's all bullshit.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
There's a theory
Can
that
I
we're
speak
aliens.
for Jens? It's all fucking soy. Fucking soy is what it is. It's the government.
No.
It's the fucking government. They've made these fucking things in Hollywood.
I tell you what, inside black holes, because they can fuck you well up. You don't want to fuck around with a black hole.
That's right, Kathleen
we've
Kennedy's
only ever
black hole.
Other than the organic kind that exists between women's legs, we've only ever seen like a black hole through mathematical computations. We've never actually like all of those.
No, they're frightening, aren't they? You see, the mathematical thing is, it's like, I don't know how many miles it is, but there's some kind of radius miles. Like, if you get anywhere near it, you just get sucked in. And
The event horizon.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's so many miles, isn't it, near the black hole, so you can't get you can only get so many miles close to it.
At least that's the theory, but they've actually come out with new research trying to say that they don't think that the black holes are as destructive as they once thought.
Well, they still are theoretical. Like there's what bothers me about NASA is all these awesome photos that they've been sending of like stars and planets and all this shit. Dude,
Photoshop.
None of that's real. Yeah, no, that's legitimate. Like I had a friend that worked on the Hubble telescope. Like that shit is not what is actually generated from those cameras. That shit is artistic representation.
Did you see what the doc said in the comments? He says the black hole image we have gotten are statistical errors.
Yeah, exactly. It's we don't know. We don't honestly, like, outside of the moon and outside of the planets that we can see with the naked eye and we can see with powerful telescopes, all of that stuff, they're like, oh, look at this gorgeous Horsehead Nebula, and oh, look at this, and it's like, yeah, that looks pretty because it was done in Photoshop. Like, that's not what it looks like when the cameras receive that information.
That horse head is the one from Sex in the City. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Well, it's almost the same problem, though, Chris, like with deep sea explorations and shit. I mean, granted, they can go so far down, but we don't know how far it really, really, really goes, you know?
Well, you got to ask the aliens about that because they're down there.
Well, they did have video footage at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, which is the deepest point in the ocean. And it showed what was down there, and it's
James Cameron.
It's garbage. Like it's James so Cameron. Like. Well, did you know there's actually two types of water at some point?
There's two types of water.
Yeah, there's super dense water and water as we know it, and there's a point in the Marianas Trench when you drop below it and you look up, or no, you look down, like you're descending down to the bottom of the ocean, and suddenly you'll see the surface of water.
Oh shit!
The big massive jellyfish, because stuck some cameras on a whale one time, and the whales went down there, because the was like hunting the big massive jellyfish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently they were massive, because like the whales because whales are massive and that, and they was like having a lunch on just one of them. So that's how big the jellyfish was.
Yeah, the creatures that they found at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, most of them didn't have eyeballs. Some of them had bioluminescence, but like these things were like the water pressure was so high that like they showed examples of somebody taking a full can of Coke. Remember, just not like an empty can that you can crush with your hand, but like a full can of Coke, and they showed it what happens when it goes out there. And within seconds, it turned into a penny on the railroad track.
Well, yeah. Well, that was part of the reason why they couldn't even explore that deep before, because everything would just crush from the freaking pressure. Doc said he believes it's called H2O3.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. I just remember they called it hyperdense water, and I think it was like H2O3. But yeah, the animals that exist down there are like 1,000, like was it like 100 times our atmosphere or something? And they're so freaking mashed that there's like armored things down there, and they're all brown and sandy and have no coloration or anything. Like,
yeah, there's that fish, isn't there, that has like a little light.
Yeah, thing. The anglerfish.
Yeah, it's like real mad.
That's like, that's actually above the dense water. The anglerfish and the things with the luminescence that exists just above the dense water. And then when you get down into the dense water, there's shit that like. It doesn't look like a fish. It's like that thing can't even swim. It's just kind of like crawling along the bottom because it's like getting mashed by like 100 atmospheres.
Mm.
Well, and what if, like, okay, go back to before, what everybody always has a, well, what happened? How did we end up with the mass we have now? But the original was one piece, right? We all can agree on the Earth, and the land that we are at one point, it was big, and then the Big Bang happened or whatever the fuck happened, and then everything separated, right?
You talking about
no,
Pangea?
the Big Bang never happened. They've already disproven that.
Well, there's one theory that at the beginning there was the what the hell they call that, the singularity, where nothing existed, and then in order for something to exist, it exploded into a million fragments, and that's a universe expanding outwards. Like we're always expanding outwards, and all the older systems or whatever in our galaxies, all the stars are dying out, and all the newer systems that are closer to the heart of the white hole in the center of our galaxies are still young and brighter and possibly uninhabitable because of their youth or whatever, that whole Goldilocks thing. But that's, again, those are theories. These are all mathematical theories. Nobody knows. Like that's what's scary about all this is.
That's what I was going to say. Let's go back and say that the Earth was one, Africa and America, everything was all still attached, right?
Yeah, Pangea.
And let's say that the aliens were here then, and then because of dinosaurs and shit. Because then you got the assholes that say we evolved from ape, and then there's this and that. I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of shit we can go through. But what if that the aliens that were on the land then are now the ones that are way, way, way deep? Or who's to say that because of the way shit went, that's how they ended up down there, because they were above and now they're not. And again, I'm just speculating shit, I'm just stirring the pot.
There is this theory that so there's two theories. Nelson.
Yeah, he's jumping out and trying to fix and jump back in.
Okay, I guess I can bloviate then. So there are these two theories. One of them is that there was actually a planet in between Mars and Earth called Theia, Theia. And Theia crashed into Earth. And that crashing into Earth is what caused, pieces of that the shrapnel from the collision flew off from that collision and caused the asteroid belt and caused our moon. So our moon didn't exist until Theia crashed into us.
Okay.
And as a result, that collision with the two planets kicked off some type of genesis, basically, with Earth and shaped it the way that it is now. You know what I mean? Like, how come none of the other planets, even though there are some in the Goldilocks, what they call the Goldilocks position between the sun, close enough to the sun but not too close to get burned?
Yeah.
Why did Mars lose its atmosphere and all that stuff? But yet Earth seems to have it and everything. So there's that theory that the planet of Theia collided with Earth and caused that spark of life. Another theory is that humanity, what we know as Homo sapiens, is actually an invasive species. We're the only creature in the fucking world that is not harmonious with nature. We are a virus on this planet, and that means we were of an extraterrestrial origin. We could have been seeded to take over because there's proof of other human species existing around the same time as Homo sapiens. Like the Cro-Magnons, and a couple of the other different other. There's actually more than just the Neanderthals.
One second, Chris. Good night, Doc. Thanks for being here.
Have a good night, Doc.
Have a good one, man.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Cro-Magnons and the Neanderthals existed at the same time, yet they were two very different species. Who's to say that the extraterrestrials or whatever that seeded this planet, that dropped us, the species that isn't harmonious with the planet, meaning that if you took humans off this planet, the planet would revert back to its normal natural state, and it would go on just fine. If every human was wiped off the face of this planet, then Earth would be back to what it was during its prehistoric eras or during its natural states, and it would look.
Well, they had a show just about that too.
Yeah, the was it like the Afterman or something?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
they,
that's
they
what.
showed all the domestic breeds that humanity has destroyed with Canis familiaris, the dog.
Mhm.
How they mangled all of these dogs species into these worthless animals that can't survive in nature anymore. Like all those little Shih Tzus and Chihuahuas and stuff would just die off because they need human intervention to survive. But basically, I guess what that's saying is if you're a believer in extraterrestrial life, then the theory that humanity is actually the first extraterrestrials to visit this planet, that could be sound because,
Right.
again, we're the only non-harmonious species on this planet. No other species destroys the environment. Not a single one.
That's why magpies like your eyes, brother.
Sorry, that was a really long-winded rant.
No, you're educated. Like I didn't know a lot. I appreciate your intelligence and when you share this stuff though, because it's worthwhile bringing up. Because like, of course, I went with DBZ when you're talking about sending people to the planet to take over. Because we are Saiyans, brother. That's where I was.
Listen, you're a glorious son of a bitch with a lot of knowledge, but I'll tell you one thing: you're wrong. As are all of the history books. It's all bullshit. The government fed us lies.
Oh, that's true.
We are Atlanteans. We are aliens who came here from the planet Uranus. And we had sex with your mom. And then we invented things. And then the things we invented blew up in our faces. And now we're all dumb. And we are masturbating on computers and all sorts of weird shit. And then they're gonna shoot the bombs.
I didn't
everywhere.
know Vic was here.
Oh shit!
He's in the back fondling chip. Never mind.
That's an interesting one. Have you guys ever heard that theory before too? That they said Atlantis was actually a ship.
Oh
no.
Well, what about the other island
I've heard
nations?
You remember the skull? That was it.
Well, do you remember the beginning, the intro to the original Battlestar Galactica?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Lauren Green was narrating and he was talking about the lost
text.
civilization? Yeah, and he said Lemuria. Lemuria was like an island that vanished off the face of the earth, and there was another island called Mu, called the Wandering Isle, and those have a lot of similarities to the stories of Atlantis. So I'm wondering if there's actually an Irish island too, called High Brazil, that was supposed to have existed off the west coast of Ireland. And it just vanished. So I'm wondering if all of those are the same thing, like Atlantis, High Brazil, Lemuria, and Mu.
You could be correct. I think that Lizzo is from the planet Mu.
And her sorority was called the Omega Moose.
Alpha Omega. Man. Well, and that's like the weirdness with like the Bermuda Triangle and shit, dude. Like that what if some of the stuff we were talking about, like if that all is the same, right? It's just stories being, because again, we've only been as a nation, 1776, so 250 years, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been here that long. We're still very infant, and learning shit. So, and we are basing everything off the theories that as we know it. So again, when we talk this stuff, sometimes people think we're crazy, but just because we have questions doesn't mean we're crazy. We're just curious, and not in a way that's nasty.
Well, I mean, there was even a report out there on his way over that Christopher Columbus had jotted down in his notations in his captain's log that he had seen something that he thought was otherworldly.
Yeah.
Well, you remember the old, I don't know if it's in the Christian Bible, but I know it's in Judeo writings, the Talmud and stuff.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, they're talking about the wheels, the Ophanim in the sky. These rotating wheels, the throne of God, were these, winged wheels in the sky with eyes and lights on them.
Wheels. It was wheels within wheels.
Yep. I'm wondering if that was like what the primitive man's brain could equate to a flying saucer or some other type of spacecraft.
Well, they say the same thing about the Mayans and the Aztecs when they talk about Quetzalcoatl and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to say that maybe he was a space explorer.
Yeah. Or what about the Nazca lines? You know, like how high, like the Nazcas over in Peru made these gigantic land art pieces, like in the desert or on the hills and stuff, out of stone, that could only be viewed from extremely high altitudes, meaning that you'd have to be in the air to fully appreciate the image.
Mhm.
Why the hell would a primitive civilization that had no ability to fly be able to, create these images to that level of accuracy?
Oh, dude, there's so many things like that it's like it boggles the mind, dude. How
Mm.
about like all those images that are in all these different temples, and they all look like some kind of flying saucer, and they're in completely different parts of the world.
Yep.
Well, here's another one. Since you're touching on that, Vinny, you're talking about the stuff. Well, what about the stuff in Egypt where they're talking about when they went down inside the pyramids and they were putting all the paintings and everything on the wall, because everything inside those pyramids was painted.
Yeah.
They had like murals in there.
Mhm.
How would they have done that as deep as they were without oxygen? How would they have done it without torches? How would they have seen anything that they were doing?
Well, do you remember? Do you guys remember Tutankhamun? Remember the story of Tutankhamun? His dad was called Akhenaten, and his dad had to go. There was actually a very strange period in Egyptian lineage where
they wrote him right out of history.
Yeah, they carved him out because this guy Akhenaten, who was supposedly birth defected, okay, he was built just like a gray alien. He had like a bulbous body, really weak, wiry arms and stuff, and a big fucking head. And he basically said that all of the Egyptian gods' pantheons were garbage. They didn't exist. They weren't real. They were fairy tales. And that the only real god was Aten, who was this light bringer in the sky. And Aten was a disc. It was this light, like flying saucer disc or whatever. And that he converted all of the religious teachings and everything. And even the art style changed during the reign of King Akhenaten and his wife Nefertiti. And they valued like their former beauty was very effeminate and very, very David Bowie-ish versus the traditional gender stuff. And when he had a son, Tutankhamun, and when Akhenaten died and Tutankhamun was like, I think he was like 18 or whatever, yeah, he had an accident and he died too. And then as soon as he died, all of the priests from all of the Egyptian old pantheons, the old gods that were renounced and told were garbage, they all freaking erased all of Akhenaten's stuff or tried their damnedest and reverted back to the like Ra and Set and all that stuff. Wow. And it's really freaking weird because when I was studying art history and they showed us King Akhenaten and Nefertiti and Tutankhamun's like reconstruction of what he'd look like and shit, these were weird looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun is his name.
Tutankhamun. Yeah, I remember at one point, and this was the one in DC, the Smithsonian. They actually had a display for the Egyptian stuff and everything, and they actually had some of King Tut's stuff there. And I remember like some of that stuff that was in there was just amazing looking and weird looking. Like it was just so strange. Like, and even his head, his mummy, the way it's wrapped, you could see how extended his head is and everything.
Yeah,
very
it's like a big alien head.
Yeah, I seen it too. They have one of them on tour as well. Seeing all that shit in person, it is something else. But yeah,
it could be a human head though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I mean, it's all speculative at this point, but yeah, it could just could have been a flipper baby.
I mean, after they rip out your brains through your nose and the equipment they had back then to get the bodies ready, and then you take a couple hundred years later, and maybe, but yeah, I mean, these are questions that we can't even ask these questions in 2022.
Yeah, but the say like technology back in sort of like them days was more sufficient than we think, because apparently there was this sort of like steam ball that one of the Greeks invented, and that.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was
Greek fire.
yeah, well, it's just like a ball with like two little things. That steam comes out and it spins around, but it creates a lot of energy and that. Yeah, and they were saying like, oh yeah, they think that there was technology like steampunk technology that was
Well, I
but
mean,
like those batteries they
Jens on
found in
that.
Persia.
Well, no, what Jens is hitting on is pretty interesting too, because they have the Antikytherium device. They still cannot explain that at all, especially with the teeny tiny little gears that they have in that we
the first
wouldn't
computer.
see until centuries later.
Well, not only that, but like, why would Iraq or ancient Persia or Mesopotamia have batteries?
Actually, they did kind of explain that to a degree, and they said that they were probably plating stuff with gold.
Oh shit! Well,
and I was going to say, and what was that machine that was it Plato made where it was like loads of mirrors that like use the sun and could like laser beam like ships.
Archimedes.
Oh,
yeah,
was it
Archimedes. Yeah, dude, he was the terror of his period. Like Archimedes' name would send scare the shit out of any invading force, because Archimedes invented something called Greek fire that to this day we have no idea how to reproduce it. The closest thing we can come to is napalm.
Yeah, could you imagine what kind of technology did exist and we just lost it throughout time?
We lost it.
Yeah, Alexandria, all that stuff. There's so much knowledge that's been lost. Because again, they still don't know how the fuck these people made any of those pyramids. How there's certain things in Malta. There's all that. My cousin was there recently. There's some kind of ruins and stuff there that it's like, how would they make it? Why would they make it? Because the people like who took over Malta, they were like farmers and shit from Sicily, and it's like, why would they have done something like this? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's just like the Easter Island thing. Like, everybody was looking at the Easter Island heads and they're like, oh, they're not that bad to move. And until they started digging down and they showed you the full extent of those bodies and how big they were.
Yeah.
Those things were huge. We only see like, what is it, less than half of the actual statue?
Well, the scary part about all that is the stone that the Easter Island or the Aku Aku heads were made out of is not native to that island.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, where the hell did they get this stuff?
Wasn't it from like outside of Egypt or something? The stones?
All I know, like I remember watching a documentary on it and they're like, that stone is not native to this island. And if it is, then they somehow managed to mine every square cubicle, like every square particle of it from the island. And when they made those statues, and then dispose of the rest of it somewhere else, because the only other explanation they can give is that it was transported to that island. And they're thinking the primitive boats that existed, because of the South Pacific Aboriginal tribes or whatever that did that shit, that boats would sink.
It's impossible. Yeah, I think I've seen that same special. It does not make sense.
Yeah, they got statues there, and they have like tattoo, like carvings on the backs of their necks and shit. And like those things go like Tommy was saying, like you look at the head and you're like, well, that's a big statue. And then when they excavated it, the full body is just submerged, and it's like, yeah, that's bigger than an airplane.
What were you going to say, Jens?
Oh, sorry.
I forgot. But talking about big stones getting moved, the Stonehenge, where they're a bit like, because the stones are massive, like they're heavy and that, and they're a bit like, like we're not exactly sure how they got moved there. Obviously, they're thinking to put like logs underneath it and mold it, but with it being so heavy in that.
But there's also the American Stonehenge, which is like near Chris's area, somewhere over there. And they said, and it fucking lines up though. It lines up with the other one, and then to another part of the world that they believe like man first came from.
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Like, how in the world Were they able to do that? Were these things lined up, all of it?
Well, not
Well,
only that,
what
but
about that? What about that guy in Florida that did the what was that? It's called the Coral Castle. They still couldn't explain how he put all that shit up.
Oh,
Damn.
the guy who did it by himself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he was claiming that he had at one point he was. I think they said he claimed he had alien technology that he used to do it all.
Oh, no shit.
well, the thing about Stonehenge over in the UK or in Britain is that Stonehenge, like a lot of people, they're like, oh, historical scholars attribute the Stonehenge as a worshiping site or sacrificial site or whatever for the Druids of that period.
Mm-mm.
Little did they realize, like 30, 40 years later, they discovered that Stonehenge predates Britons. Like we're talking like Neolithic period. So like we're not talking like a civilization that had like technology to move that shit.
Mhm.
Like we're talking cavemen, and like the only natives of Britain that existed looked like Native Americans. They're Picts. The people that we consider British today, what are the Albanians or whatever,
Mhm.
they were invaders. The Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes were not native to the British Islands. They actually emigrated from Scandinavia or from Europe. Like Irish people are actually ethnically French. They both came from Narbonenses, the people of Ulster.
Wow.
Like Hibernia was settled by like white people did not naturally exist in the British Isles.
Mhm.
So the Stonehenge and shit was not made by what we would consider British people. It was made by a pre-civilization or like cavemen, or
Well,
the Picts.
you're talking about like those pre-civilizations, like that one guy. What's his name? Hancock or whatever he is, the one that does the apocalypse show, Ancient Apocalypse. He was talking
Graham.
Graham
Yeah.
Hancock. He was talking about ancient Jericho, and he was like, everybody talks about the walls of Jericho falling down, and that's the biblical story
Revelation.
they know. But he was talking about there was two more versions of Jericho underneath the original version that we know of from the Bible. So he was saying that there's two more, like way back in prehistory, where they had big, massive stone walls that they shouldn't have had at that point.
Yeah, well, look at the ziggurats of ancient Ur. Like these ziggurats were these mega structures that like they would make the pyramids look like little like pimples. Like these things were huge. And again, it's like the technology. How did these people who were barely scraping to survive, because they were like primitive men essentially, how were they able to plane and plumb a perfect like linear geometric shape and then to align it in some astronomical like format, like what Vinny was mentioning earlier about how there's these points where the Stonehenge
Well,
like you'd have to be able to look up or look down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got to remember though that there wasn't female-led action films in them days, so there's more masculine than that. That was probably how you impressed birds back then, was by lifting big rocks.
Right.
I built you a ziggurat, bitch.
Oh shit, that was great.
Well, it just, I mean, there's a missing piece that we're not getting the full picture of,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean like the 2022 stuff? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna get like the Elon Musk.
Chris.
No, dude, there's gonna be an Elon Musk of aliens that's gonna spill
Right.
the beans on all of this.
Fuck no, they're lying to us so fucking much.
Yeah. So like suddenly like this one can see, and oh shit.
This
Like,
one knows. We
yeah, all of
must
a sudden
silence him.
everybody starts turning into a bunch of aliens. You've lived your whole life around fake alien people.
Oh yeah,
Damn it!
it is. It's gonna be. Yeah, they live. Hillary Clinton's gonna pull off her mask, and you're gonna see the reptilian, weird alien form. She's like,
Yeah.
And now
Only to
she's
realize though, Vinny, she goes to pull off her face, but she's not an alien, so she's just ripping her face off.
yeah. And you'll
Oh,
see,
yeah.
You'll see.
Oh,
the
you mean
devil
like that-
underneath.
Pelosi is a reptilian.
Yes, exactly, Nelson. She's reptilian, brother.
Well, that recent no, I'm reptilian, Guilo. No,
Yeah,
there
you
was
think
that
that's
story.
scary? Wait till I pull my face off and reveal I'm really a guinea pig.
It's
I
a
always
giant
just
mini.
assumed you were. You know, yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, damn it, we had him there for a moment.
Yep.
God damn
Yes,
it. What
we
the
did.
hell?
He,
What could be
by the
causing
way,
that?
I did call him when I was muted just because, you know, and I was letting him know, don't worry, man. It happens to all of us. We'll keep it going as long as he wanted to go, you know. So yeah. We're all good. How are you? We're fine.
Hey, that's my line.
I know.
Damn it.
We're all fine here now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. But no, I mean, it's, you know, it's a hell of a thing, man. There's so much we don't know. There's so much information that has been hidden from us, and this from history. You know, look at what we see today, and how can you not question everything that we've been taught? You know, and even kind of wonder, well, what if this is actually what happened, or what if that is? And of course, we already know they never tell us, not the peons. We must not know. What if that's the reason they dropped NASA and quit going around like the space station or trying to do something to the moon? You guys did see where they're talking about testing out a pod they sent out to see so they could put men on the moon for the first time, right? But didn't we already do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we visited the moon, but
Exactly.
there's nothing there.
Visited. Thank you, Chris. I'm with you, dude. Yeah, we never landed on, not in the time frame that they said we did. That's some bullshit. Because
there's
the
just nothing
batteries
there.
wouldn't have made it, dude. A1, the batteries couldn't have handled the heat from the sun or the cold, man. They would not have made it from back then. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Just batteries.
Yeah, wasn't there also like a mistake that happened too? Like the flag was blowing in the wind or something?
Yeah, a flag will not ripple in the vacuum of
Well,
space, my friend.
Here's a question that nobody answered. Who took the video of the ship leaving the moon?
Yeah, well,
exactly.
The Armstrong moon landing was fake because apparently they had like two teams. They had like one team who they sent off to the moon to put the sort of tracking to like show like, oh yeah, they've been there. And because like they didn't fucking know if they was gonna make it or not, they like apparently got like Neil Armstrong and his mates to like do a sort of like film sort of like thing so they could show the public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an official story that I heard, and I'm fairly certain it's not like the conspiracy, but all original footage of the moon landing has been lost and damaged due to the terrible way that things were filmed and managed, you know, because it happened in real time. Like it was live TV or whatever, you know, and the whole one small step for a man, you know, all that crap. Like it was all lost because it was either you saw it that day or you never saw it again. And what we see as the quote unquote footage, and supposedly this is not a conspiracy, is actually reproduced or recreated so that it can be stored or saved for posterity because it was remade from what was like they didn't fake the moon landing, they just had to reproduce it in a Hollywood studio because their real footage got lost.
Mm-hmm.
That's
well, yeah. So, but what I heard was like they didn't even bother filming the moon landing, Braille Moon, because they didn't even know if there was going to land because there was I think there was about 8 or 9 sort of like attempts before then that just ended up with them getting it blowing up sort of thing.
Oh shit.
So, yeah, because
the
Russians.
Remember that was the 9th astronaut that actually made it around or whatever. That means there are 8 other bodies somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they never outed America on their bullshit, because they didn't want America going, look, we know you got some cosmonauts that are still floating around out there, yo.
Yuri Gagarin.
Well, some of them didn't even get up into space. The like rocket just blew up on the
Apollo 3. Apollo 3 roasted everybody alive inside their seats.
Yeah. And then they like sent up the dog, didn't they?
Yeah,
the Russians.
Zulaika.
Yeah, got like a dog up into space,
A German Shepherd.
and then they said, and that dog, apparently, I think they left that dog up into space because
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
Yeah,
we can get him up, but we can't get him down.
Yep,
No.
I remember that. And then
Not
the
to mention,
whole
we don't even know if the launch of the dog, it could have died during launch. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know because the dog never came back down.
no, they have video.
Apparently, no, yeah, there is sort of like.
Apparently, though, do we really know exactly? That's all I'm saying. I'm just we have video, but again, we just talked about the fucking moon landing, Chris.
Yeah,
But the dog was all right because that's when they like started sending people up because it was like, all right, well, we got the dog up there and he was okay, but like now we'll get like a human up there and get him back down.
And then, I remember reading somewhere that they actually make reference to it in that movie with Matthew McConaughey. There, what was that space one that he was in, where he was like hiding behind a bookcase and shit?
Oh yeah. Oh fuck.
But
all right.
Yeah, whatever that movie was, they make reference.
It's like
Interstellar or some shit.
Yeah, Interstellar. There we go.
That's it.
Yeah. So there was a scene where the school was trying to re-educate the students and talking to them about how space and NASA was just bullshit. And some of it was actually true. They were talking about how basically the NASA was actually NASA is Hebrew for deception, by the way. But that it was designed to economically starve the Soviet Union. The whole space race was just a means to financially starve or to basically get the Soviets to spend all this money and bankrupt themselves trying to compete with us over bullshit. And that once the ending thing was, hey, we got to the moon first, game over. Ha ha ha. Oh, by the way, you're fucking financially bankrupt.
Yeah, no, I think that was the nukes, wasn't it? When America under Reagan did his Star Wars sort of thing where he just bought loads of nukes, and so that's when Russia sort of like started buying loads of nukes. The thing I think with the American and Russia space race, it was one of them where they knew whoever got up into space first could put satellites and all that shit, and so there was a race because I think they wanted to build a fucking space station on the moon, but I think once they found out how hard it was to get up there, and that they knew they didn't have the technology and that, and it was also a thing he wanted a national sort of pride thing out of the west and east to see who could.
Yeah, there's a big dick measuring contest.
Yeah.
And we won. Americans won, but
really, it was the Germans that won because America
all the Nazis
got all the Nazis.
Operation Paperclip. Yep.
And the German Shepherd. First species into space was German.
Tommy just had to leave. Feed his guinea pigs. I think Angelus is back there if he wants to.
Yeah, he is. I think he'll. And then I sent him the link too because he asked for the stream link, meaning for I think YouTube. So that's in there now too. There he is.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up,
dude? I can't believe I missed Ricky Stark's smack talking MJF. What?
Oh, you're good. And Nelson, you do realize you have two streams going, or you have one schedule. Yeah, you have two things set.
He had problems earlier. You're not going to really hear from him because he's having massive lag and issues.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we were earlier. He had a problem where we're EST, but it had CMT, and he kept trying to set the date and shit, and it wouldn't work. And then, this is his first time doing all this. So I tried helping him as much as I could, but there's only so much, and unfortunately, the internet and stuff. So poor guy's going nuts, but he says he's loving what we're saying, and just keep going. So,
all right,
yeah,
nice.
You didn't miss a whole lot last night on Dynamite. You just missed the MJF and Ricky Starks promo, and then the Jade match.
So I missed the Jade. God damn it!
Slap yourself in the face real hard.
But I did get to see the last match, which was, I mean, it was a good match, but I don't agree with the outcome.
Oh yeah, I forgot about FTR and the Acclaim. That was pretty good too.
Yeah,
man, I posted in the DMs. I show the guys what the why I was out cold with the freaking blood that came out of me.
Are you doing better?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was like, I was talking to ETEP on the day that it happened, and I'm like, sorry, dude, if I'm like out of it, just I don't want to ruin your show, man. Because I lost I lost my I had a T-shirt from this gaming streamer called Omega Ace Gaming. He has this awesome like Super Mario Brothers themed shirt of him and his and one of the other team guys, Maz and Power, and it's the super what is it, the elotes, you know, and it was an awesome shirt that I got, and it was green, and the freaking phlebotomist like pulls out the butterfly syringe thing out of my arm accidentally, just yoinks it out, and I still had the what is it, the tourniquet on, and blood like shoots it out of my bicep across my chest. It looked like I murdered somebody with my shirt. And she turns like she did. It took her like a few seconds to realize what was going. Oh God! And she like undoes the tourniquet, and I have this like egg-shaped thing under my arm. It's just pure blood blister, and I'm like, you know, you can't justify that 12 years of education you have over me.
Yeah, you suck.
Holy shit balls, man! How do you keep
if
getting
Raven
like?
would have took your blood, it wouldn't have been that bad.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like I could have just had Angelus come over in his bat form.
Yeah, he just bites you in the neck and then spit it in the vial for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a lot safer too than what the hell these doctors are doing to you. Holy shit!
Oh my God! Yeah, I honestly I love my nurse, my endo. She's she's gone to bat for me, and she is by far the most competent medical person that I've dealt with in the last 15 years.
Considering she kept you alive after the stuff you talked about, dude. Yeah, brother, I'm with you there. You know,
freaking
when you
doctors,
gotta point
man.
stuff out to the doctors that can't read a fucking chart because you know why would they?
Yeah.
When I could have a vampire do a better job.
Yes, go get it. Yes, go get it. But yet, had he got it, he would not be here right now.
But it's
oh no,
it's Vinny as Raiden.
Oh yeah,
Vinny wins flawless victory.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, and it's not just Raiden; it's the Christopher Lambert Raiden.
Yeah, exactly.
I am Raiden. I am Raiden.
Hey, that's a funny accent. Are you
I
queer or
fucking
something?
love
Why,
Christopher
you
Lambert Raiden. He's the best Raiden.
Yes.
There can be only one.
Dude, Christopher Lambert is a freaking treasure, man. Every movie that he's in, freaking love him.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yep. And then I was gonna make Runner Sub-Zero, but then I had forgot all about Adam here. I don't know why I just spaced. So he's
I mean, because you usually, I've never said anything. I never took offense to nothing. I was, you were just doing your art, man. I've always, and you know how much I love seeing what you do.
He's gonna freeze a tweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
Tony
Scorpion
and I are permanently going to be in.
And then red is when Scorpion takes his mask off. Their eyes, 'cause they're red.
Oh shit! Oh, I thought maybe red would be the terrible CGI reptile.
No, I didn't even put that in because
that is so bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
What's this one going to be used for? What day?
Sunday,
For Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What time is that? So I don't forget.
8 p.m. Eastern is when we're gonna start.
Nice.
So I work that day, so we're gonna have to do it after I get off work. Yeah.
Because doesn't it start?
The pay-per-view actually starts like in the afternoon at like 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Because they're doing they're trying something out.
Okay.
Cool. So. Yeah.
All right, I
I'm
wrote it
gonna try
down
to avoid spoilers all day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you got to stay off Twitter because for some reason the AEW Twitter thing. They ruined so much.
Oh, it does. And then, and then the beginning.
That's because Chris, he keeps looking
This
for
here
more
is it.
jade, and he's like, "Oh
Damn
no,
right I am.
I just
Here's
spoiled
everybody
something
in the
else."
beginning.
Hey, wait, I'm Poontang? I mean, Liu Kang?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are Poontang.
My lord, I'm your dragon king. I could actually
Yeah.
decipher what he says when he uses the bicycle kick. Now I know what you're doing with the ball.
Goddamn.
What does he say?
Somebody actually, I can't remember if it was on GameFAQs or something. Somebody actually got the official back then. I think they were just called Midway, but the official script for all when Raiden does his super flyer, he goes and
Yep.
like it's like, what the hell are they saying? Apparently, they're actually saying really Kenny levels of really lewd stuff. Like there's a bicycle kick.
Nice.
Well, Mortal Kombat was originally gonna be a Van Damme
Johnny Cage.
game. Yep.
Oh,
Johnny
really? Van
Cage.
Damme was going to be Johnny Cage?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
and it was going to be a scroll. It was going to be a scroller and all, and so you were going to play as Van Damme, like the Johnny Cage character, and go around beating up people like Double Dragon or whatever. But then I think Van Damme refused it, or they couldn't get his permission for some reason, and so then they changed it to Mortal Kombat, and then just got as you know it today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, and they got some awesome, I guess in the Chicago area at the time, they had a freaking amazing group of people to pull for their martial arts teams. Like they had Hosung Pak there, the guy that played Liu Kang, and what is it? And Daniel Pacina, who did both all of the ninjas and Johnny Cage.
Yep.
And then his brother Carlos did the Raiden. What are the odds to have that big of a badass wushu and other martial arts teams that close to your game studio?
Well, the guy who played Johnny Cage in this, he's in the Teen Wolf TV series as the one guy's dad.
What's it, Lyndon Ashby?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole.
Yep. I was going to
like
have
that
that
guy.
line in this because I have the scene because Tommy's going to be Goro.
Tommy, is it a guinea pig?
Tommy is going to be Goro, and the hands are going to be guinea pigs.
When he punches, weak.
There's a
Oh shit.
But I was going to have the whole, what is it? When he breaks the sunglasses, there's a $500 thing. But the audio for the clip, the recording that I did for the audio of the clip is really low. So even if I do make everything else low when that's playing, it's still really hard to hear.
Oh,
So I just got rid of that part, and then I'm just having him break the sunglasses, and then him do the split, punch him right in the dick.
You know what's odd is in the video game, Goro and Sonya are and Shang Tsung are the only characters that you can't actually punch in the balls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was I want to reenact the scene from the movie. Oh, I can't. Son of a bitch, the movie live.
That's funny.
And then at the end, it's gonna be Kang Iger. So this part is gonna have the thing that I made of Bob Iger with the with the Shao Kahn helmet on
Nice.
on this.
We're turning them all gay and black.
And then I'll have to do your eyes here again, and then
Sweet.
Yeah.
Man, that was one of my favorite video game adaptations.
Oh, we lost Nelson.
Oh yeah, he's been in and out all night.
That poor guy, man. Can't catch a break. It's his show, and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden he goes to start up his show, and the freaking internet shits on him.
Well, it wasn't exactly fine. It's as soon as we started, we were having problems. That's why we had him redo it a couple times, but.
No, I mean whenever he was on your show or whatever, he had fine audio, whatever.
Yeah, I think he was on his phone the last couple of times.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
I talked with him, and it's and you guys know backstage what we were talking about and stuff, and that's why, because I wanted to help him. He wants to do this a couple times a year. He doesn't want to do it all the time. He's too busy. But like I told him, I want him to be able to do it. So maybe if I run into any problems, I'll hit you and Tommy up to try to get so we can get everything figured out so I can host it where he's on with me, but I can host it under him, but he's still got control, and all the stuff like you guys do.
That might be, and maybe I'm overstepping here, but that might be something worth looking into for everyone, like redundancies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like Tommy got really screwed over by his internet.
Yeah, he did.
And it hurt him pretty bad for his streams.
And same with Vinny though, like you guys in NFL, man. I mean, it's I've got he's got AT&T, I've got Xfinity, so I could host it, and I could. Yeah. I've done that. I went on with WCBS for the wrestling pay-per-view. While I was on with the guys, I was playing the wrestling like what Draven does, and anybody in the chat could come in and watch as we were watching it.
Well, like I'm wondering if we could set up like redundancies like that. Across trusted people like that. So, like, if Tommy's internet is screwing him, he doesn't have to lose out on missing a stream. He can be like, okay, we're going to need somebody else to host it tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we were doing that for a while. Because in the beginning, too, my internet was really bad a few years back. And it was during one of these fucking stupid hurricanes. And something was loose in like where the connections are outside. And the guy goes, "Wow, I don't know how you guys got any internet because like,
oh damn!"
He goes, "This is completely broken." I'm like, "Holy shit, wow!" But it took like months before they were able to come out and fucking fix it. And when they did, like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, and even now, like they kept doing repairs and fixing shit, and I've been like on one bar for the past 2 months.
Oh wow! Well, we got to ask Draven since he's here. So, buddy, how do you feel about aliens? Do you think they exist? Have you had any experiences being a vampire and all?
Not with aliens, but like I do think they exist in some form, but maybe not necessarily like other planets, but like more of like a parallel to our own plane. Like with religion, like there's a spiritual battle like happening all around us that we don't see. Like that's kind of like what I envision as like aliens potentially or other beings.
Another dimension on another plane of existence in our
reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The spiritual world.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I was saying, talking about the spiritual world, yeah, because Alex Jones and that he was going on about like, oh yeah, like all these sort of like deluded sort of crazy folk are getting like messages from demons and that, that are like otherworldly planet sort of thing.
Well, I mean, they touched on it in Constantine.
I can agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's me. It's Alex Jones. Infowars.com, band.video. Yeah. No, it's true. There is a war going on right now, and there are demons and devils everywhere.
Return the frogs gay.
They're called the Biden administration, and yes, the frogs are gay. Get your vitality pills. Get your dick pills at band.video.
And remember, never let Hillary Clinton anywhere near your fucking pizza.
I have no idea what he just said, but I'll agree.
Never let Hillary Clinton anywhere near your pizza.
Apparently on the Game Awards, somebody like got up on stage and like said about how they're like something about the Orthodox and Bill Clinton.
What?
And then they like just walked then they went away, but then security like took them backstage.
Was it someone who actually worked at a game, or was it a random person?
It was just a random person.
Oh,
just rush the stage.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I want to see this.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if I can share it. Just
who
because
is Nelson the only one?
Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do audio through Streamlabs like to a stream.
Yeah, there is a share. It says share audio sometimes, but like I've tried it and it didn't share the audio with me, so I don't know if it was something to do with my PC.
Well, he would need Nelson to okay it if he's having difficulties. Yeah. That's funny though. Somebody just jumped into a stage.
Yeah, I can still bring it up, I think.
I still love watching all those fans that jump into the ring or do whatever in wrestling, and then watch them get their asses handed to them.
Oh yeah. Every time a fan runs in and gets the shit knocked out of him.
Like, what would
Yeah.
possess someone to do that? It's like
I
literally
know.
these people are like close to 300 pounds of muscle
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, and
So
In my
this-
defense, they always told you not to do that anyway. Every live event I went to, they were like, "Hey, don't come to the ring. You will be escorted out. You will be arrested." Like I remember that from the 80s and 90s.
yeah.
Yeah, but who
so
in
this
their right
kid
mind would-
here, this kid here,
Mhm.
got up and he's like, I want to nominate the Orthodox.
And they're like, okay, get him off. Get him off.
Oh, thank everybody, and then nominate the Orthodox Bill Clinton or something like that.
Oh, but
And then you can see security guys like
Yeah, you can see
freaking
they,
coming in as he's done and walking away, and then they're
that's why they're zooming out like that.
Yeah.
They don't want
Yeah.
But apparently, this was like during like a commercial break or something. I'm assuming,
Oh shit.
but yeah.
Oh, but
Of course, when all the good stuff happens.
did he walk out with them, or he popped up while they were on?
Oh, he popped up while they were on, I think, or like finishing up.
So they weren't. He wasn't even part of their dev team.
No,
That's fucking funny.
Man.
Holy shit.
I didn't have
Kinda
to
looked
change
like a
much to
lesbian.
make it look like Shao Kahn to make it look like Bob Iger.
Oh, Jens.
What?
Aliens haven't visited Earth. They're all like shite.
Yeah, because like if aliens visited Earth and that, they'd have like left more sort of like clues. I reckon, even though they do say like there's the Egyptian sort of what they're called, hieroglyph or
Yeah, the hieroglyphs.
yeah, and there's like spaceships and helicopters and that, but I think there was on acid, maybe, you know.
Well, I know that like the primitive brain can't comprehend things beyond its technological capacity. So, like when the cavemen that were in Northern America, aka the Native Americans, their civilization didn't even develop the wheel, and yet they saw these conquistadors and these European colonials coming in the tall ships, and they couldn't fathom. They called them like forests of the ocean or mountains of the ocean because they had no corollary. They're like, I've never seen a construct like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think drugs are because a lot of societies and that are built sort of like stuff. They've like took a few drugs and that to get to that stage where they've been having like hallucinations and that of stuff, and then oh yeah,
What's
I'll
that
make
drug
it.
that Joe Rogan always talks about?
oh
But the
Not
where he gets
DMT.
yeah.
Maybe that's maybe that's what it is. Maybe like the what spurned the technological advancement was taking DMT.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
DMT
Yeah.
and peyote. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Vikings, they took a lot of acid. And
Oh yeah, they did.
they invented like stuff like longboats and axes and that.
Well, have you ever heard of what is it, the Uthbert sword, or what do they call it, crucible steel? The Norse, the Vikings invented a type of steel that was bendy. It was like spring steel. They call it crucible steel, and they made these swords called Uthbert swords. They were called that because historians saw inscribed upon the tang of the blade Uthbert, and these swords were made out of a material that weren't possible until like the 19th century industrial revolution of metallurgy. So yeah, man, the Vikings were they were ahead of their time with technology. It was insane.
What if
Yeah.
what if while on say shrooms or on said thing is when you were able to actually hear the aliens, you know? Just
Yeah,
saying.
the other. Well, that's what
The
Joe
other
Rogan
planes
said.
that we're
Is
talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Well, psychedelics like open up your mind to like
yeah,
other things.
your pineal gland.
Yeah.
But
Talk about
they-
the clockwork elves when he's on DMT, where
yeah,
he like apparently they're like little sort of like creatures that are like around but they're in a different what do you call it? Oh, a different
Dimension.
realm. Yeah, different sort of realm and pitch sort of thing. And so until you're on DMT, you can't really see them. But apparently they're always there. But I've never took DMT, so I won't know.
Yeah, I can't say that I've took that either.
Yeah.
Some THC maybe, but not that, man. You know, little weed.
Yeah.
Little weed. I did cocaine once, and I was just like, for the price of cocaine, I could buy a fuck ton of weed. So I only did coke once.
I know. And the thing with cocaine is, I can be an arrogant prick without fucking wasting money in
Right.
powder.
yeah, no kidding,
Yeah.
huh? For the price of that booger sugar.
God damn.
Oh man.
At least when I got to try it, it was the rear peer shit. It wasn't all baby laxative and all that kind of crap. It was like, oh, try to bump, and I was just like, all right, you know, got the little speed race. Okay, da 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 da. All right, not too bad. How much that cost? Yeah, hell no.
Yeah.
No,
Just give me some jolt, baby. I'll be fine.
I hate it because I'm a straight edge. Like not intentionally. I just
Mhm.
my thing is I don't want to do drugs of any kind. Like life for me is hard enough as it is without having a paper bag over my head. and what bothers me the most is, despite the fact that I've never done drugs, never did alcohol, you know, don't smoke, don't anything, the amount of drugs I'm on.
Right?
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. I've never done drugs, but Jesus, I'm on all these drugs to stay the fuck alive. How
Yeah.
that was
Man.
Yeah.
God, I have a feeling though, if I'm on my way out, DMT or whatever, I'll take that shit. I don't care if I'm tripping balls on my way out. You know?
Yeah.
Looks like I got to that point where it was just like, man, I'm done. Like the pharmaceutical shit wasn't doing it. I mean, yeah, I smoked weed back in the 90s, no big deal. Then I went decades without doing it. But then after the motorcycle accident, and basically when I fell in the pool with no water, I fell 8 feet and fucked myself up for a couple years. Yeah, that's, I mean, you know about the diabetes and all the other shit, but like the motorcycle accident in the 90s was bad. But when I fell in the pool here at the house with no water, 8 feet, yeah, that did me in. And they won't give me fucking pain pills, which I'm fine with, Chris, because I don't want that shit anyway. But when you're in pain and can't move, and you know what I mean, dude, like, you know, sometimes you need something to take the edge off. And I got to the point where I was trying like CBD, and I drank a little, and I do some gummies like ETEP and stuff, and I was kind of doing that stuff. But I mean, now I don't smoke cigarettes because I quit that shit, over a year ago. I don't drink. I haven't drank in almost a year. And when I have drank, it's nowhere. Like when you meet ETEP, and not you, but anybody, if you go and meet ETEP, that dude can drink. And not in a bad way. Like we had a blast. I hadn't been to the bar in like 2 decades. So
not in a bad way, just in a raging alcoholic way.
No, let's put it this way. When Pete's away, he's gonna play, and because he's with the tray and everything. So when he gets to have adult time, like we sat there and drank, we had a good time. We weren't doing stupid shit. Like we're adults, let's be realistic here. Yeah, we're all adults, So we sat around, we had some drinks, we went and had a burger, shot the shit. I ate some gummies. He did too. It was the highest I'd ever fucking been with that man. We're sitting there at this restaurant. We're thinking it's just a burger shack, yo. And no, is it a burger shack? It's this fucking fine dining place. It was some burger name place. You're like, oh, it's a burger joint, right? Dude, I had a Mr. Burger's cutoff on. We show up and I'm looking around like, man, I am fucking under fucking and then I'm high. So we're talking and I can hear shit. And all of a sudden I'm starting to pay attention to the woodwork, man. I'm high. And I'm like, really pretty, man. Because it was, though. It was pretty. You had to be stoned to enjoy it. But like, okay. And like eventually our eyes meet. And then we're like, this is a fucking badass plate. Yeah. You know, and I'm looking the other way he's looking. And like, but we were baked.
They were just in a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. We were in a Waffle House. You know, up and upper
breaking news.
Yeah. But I mean, it was one of those experiences. Like, I've done gummies, but I never got really that high. And I tried, you know, I'd taken the same ones I had before, no problems. So I fucking, you know, I'm like, all right, we're gonna go eat. So I ate the edible, and then like we left way later than I thought we were. So it kind of was kicking in, but it was nice though. It was to be able to. And Chris, you know, when you have people like Draven, who when I met him, dude, drove us right, like drove my car, no problems. Like, here, we'll take my car. But was responsible enough, like I was, you know, to make sure everybody got where they needed to. It's nice when you've got a teammate that's working with you instead of against you. That's also trying to make sure that the crew, when you're not the only fucking pop Adam taking care of everybody. And like with Draven, though, like first time I met him, even though we'd stream, you know, because some people are like, oh, because I've got a newer Prius. It's just a fucking Prius. It's a car. Don't worry. It's because I had to, you know. Nate couldn't get in and out of my Jeep anymore. Why am I going to pay $600 for something I can't drive? So I got a Prius. He could get in and out of it and good gas mileage, you know. Other than that, every other vehicle I had, dude, I had a V8 with straight pipes. That's how I roll. So
nice.
But Angelus was nice enough to be like, yeah, I'll drive. And he did. And then he was telling me about California where they're making fun of his driving. And I'm like, I mean, I only got one eye, but I'm not scared. Like, you're doing great. So I appreciated it. And the fact that we're not all alone, like all of us finding each other. There's a reason we are all here. And I don't care, aliens or not. Fuck it, man. I'm just happy to have all of you as actual friends, not posers, not fucking bullshit. You know, we come together, we have fun.
Amen, brother.
That's it, my man. And whether it's live, face to face, on air, on the phone, in the messages that we all send to each other, I don't care. Thank you all, because that's the way it should be. This is what friendship really is.
Yeah.
Well, this is crazy.
Even if for Christmas can't have a drink.
I'm looking in the back and I'm seeing like the time is crazy. Nelson's in the future right now. It's 1:13 a.m. by him.
Yep.
This is crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm looking in the back. It says Nelson. He posted at 1:13 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What the hell's going on with his internet?
Using his phone.
That's what happened the first time was, like I said, he was trying to do the thing and it wouldn't let him go any. It says you have to set the time for a future date. And it's like, it is. And I'm like, buddy, check the time on your computer. And at that time, unfortunately, I was talking with Mr. Peabody, like I said, my Australian cobber. So like I was doing that, but then, you know, trying to help him too. And then he got worked out, then it didn't get worked out, then it did work, and then it didn't work. So, I mean, and then here we are. So we're all having fun. And I feel horrible for him. But like we were saying prior to everything we just talked about, I think that's a good backup plan where we can, if I've got a stronger internet than like Vinny, for example, that there's got to be a way we can all, but we're smart enough to figure this shit out. Damn it.
Yeah, that's it. If they could fake landing on the moon, we could figure this out.
Oh yeah, they actually did fake it though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did something come out recently? Like
Armstrong said it. He was on Joe Rogan and he said,
"Yeah, that was what I was saying earlier about the fact that all the footage of the real moon landing was lost, so they had to fake it by reproducing it in a Hollywood set."
Wow.
Yep.
And that's not a conspiracy. Like that was they literally said that's what they did. Like,
so they were actually on the moon, but then they just faked they redid everything.
Yeah, that's the story. That's the official story.
So
I would say that officially they did not land when they say they did. They just did that shit to get Russia off the back. And as you said, did bankrupt Russia anyway. And then on top of it, I mean, all these guys do is lie. So we can't trust them anyway.
I know. I just
think we finally made it, just not when they said we did.
I want to know if the German Shepherd is still orbiting the Earth.
Zuleika is still up there.
That's why, man. Let's bring that puppy home.
Well,
they probably will be.
Well, Nelson in the back said there's an embarrassing amount of evidence that people not of this world have been visiting here for thousands, if not millions of years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We make great pets. We make great
Well, when are they going to come down and really teach us how to do like the proper things or invent weapons that could actually like disintegrate
we know they haven't already.
Yahtzees?
Well,
what if?
no,
what
they're
if,
trying
though,
to engineer us and turn us into soy boys.
Well, what if the aliens though are controlling said president we have now? I mean, I'm just saying. What if they're against us? We don't know.
It's
Well, what if
Schwab.
what if our concept of aliens isn't what it isn't extraterrestrial, but
Right.
it's instead like what Joe Rogan said, extra dimensional.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't come from another planet. They came from another reality that exists in the same space.
And
Yep.
what if they're just jumping into certain individuals who are destroying the world right now, and they're calling the shots? How about that?
Yeah.
Mind control.
Kind of like in the Indiana Jones movie that was shit. But yeah, you know, the aliens were talking to the Russian gal before it all disappeared and went to shit.
They're like the guys from Doctor Who that have the zippers, and then they like fart when they
What?
are in the suits.
Yeah. They're like these big green baby things that
Yeah,
are bigger than the bodies they occupy.
And they fart and do
For
what?
The
Yeah, let
convicts
me-
from Men in Black, basically.
They're
Screw what
these
they're
gross,
called.
fat-looking, dopey things that look like giant babies, and they
Ethan.
fart and stuff. But yet they kill people and then wear their skin like a suit, and that their skin is actually smaller than they are. So it's like, how did that big, fat, dumb baby thing come out of something that's like half its size?
Bit like the TARDIS, isn't it? The skin must be like the TARDIS, bigger.
It's all retardus.
the Slovene.
Yeah, the Slovene.
Yeah,
It's all retardus.
Yeah.
Dude, I miss like I thought when Doctor Who came back with Russell T Davies there
Mhm.
back in like 2000 with Christopher Eccleston, and then all the way up until David Tennant, I freaking loved that shit. And then after David Tennant, it just went full soy.
I
We
like
had Matt Smith go there, and I was like, "Oh, this hurts." Amy
I
Pond
liked
needs
Matt
to get
Smith to
punched.
some degree, but I hated Amy Pond.
Yeah. Well, Matt Smith also had that episode where that black chick, like, she like
Mhm.
she wasn't a companion, but she was like an ally, and she like mutated, what the hell they call it, regenerated from like a guy, and she's like, "Oh, that's better. How do you handle that male ego?" Oh, and it was like, what the hell was that all about?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
why did you? Oh,
yeah, that's soy nerd part fucking 2 getting established. Part 1
Yeah.
was when they had Ace beating the shit out of fucking a Dalek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how?
these things.
Yeah, look at that stupid baby looking thing. And that's the skin suit, and it's like
Yeah,
half
see,
its size.
there we go. They're coming out of the suit.
Oh my
Still
god.
reminds me of the cockroach from Men in Black, yo.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. That's I
Mhm.
think that's where. But
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I still think to this day the best episode of Doctor Who was obvious. It's odd because it was done by Moffat, who completely destroyed the series. But it was an episode called Blink, and it didn't even have
Mhm.
Doctor Who in it. Like that was the best.
Yeah, Blink
episode
is
ever.
good.
Yeah, because like it was scary as shit when there's this guy talking about, like you're seeing the Doctor or Doctor Who from like other like normal people's perspective,
Mhm.
and there's this like alien essentially warning them.
Now
about shit.
later he ruined it because
Yep.
he basically turned him into like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
where, like,
well, they
as
had
long
the
as you're-
Statue of Liberty as
long-
one.
Yeah, as long as you remember they exist, they like exist, like or
So
like
stupid.
yeah, like because there was a video of the one like recorded, and it could like still affect you even though you saw a recording of it.
Yep, that was so stupid. But yeah, I grew up with that shit. I mean, I got British family, so like that was, like when I was a kid, it was John Pertwee or the second, the third Doctor. That was the one that I started with. Weird sci-fi thing. It was like I didn't even know what I was watching, but it was cool. It was like James Bond, but only
Yeah.
the dude was an alien.
Oh
And it
yeah,
was
that's
like-
the one where he's like stuck on Earth and
Yeah, he's
do it.
part of
He
the
has
unit.
He has the car and all that stuff.
Yeah, Bessie.
and-
Yeah. And he had Venusian karate or judo or whatever. He
Yep.
would like beat the shit out of people. John Pertwee was freaking awesome. Like
Mhm.
that dude's like I saw him in other movies and stuff, and I'm like, why did they ruin him with the Doctor? Like this guy's like a badass. Like he could have been James Bond.
Mhm.
But so they made him the Doctor, and then obviously the best like I would say the all around best doctor ever, which was Tom Baker. Like he came in, and that just like that made me like a huge fan of that shit. And then when it went off the air, like I started losing interest when Sylvester McCoy came in, where like what Jens was saying, where Ace beats the shit out of freaking a Dalek. Basically, it's a chick with a spray can beats the shit out of a tank. Okay, and I lost interest. Yeah, well, there was one
baseball bat.
Yeah, yeah, wooden baseball bat versus an Abrams tank.
Wow.
And yeah, I lost interest, and then I saw the movie with Eric Roberts in it, in like '96 or whatever.
They bring
like,
that back into the fold too.
Yeah, he's the War Doctor.
Yeah.
Or no, he was the pre-War Doctor.
He's the pre-War Doctor.
Yeah, was it John Hurt, who's now dead? He was the War Doctor.
Yeah.
But like, I that got me back into it, but you know, it was only a one-off movie, so I'm like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Russell T Davies brought it back in 2000 and Christopher Eccleston was there, I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah, he's like my favorite Doctor.
Yeah, and it's such a shame that they really screwed him over, and he just like would later, and it's like, dude, you guys had the lightning in a bottle right here.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, everybody else is like, who the fuck are these nerds talking about this stupid Doctor Who shit?
Yeah, I tuned out before.
I'm sorry.
20 minutes ago, I tuned out when they started talking about Doctor Who. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, we were talking about aliens and stuff, and that it just reminded me of like,
I'm
like
fucking
an alien.
No. You know, I love
like,
you guys.
There's the Potato Head guys too, and
Otakus.
The Sontarans.
Yeah, the Sontarans, and the only way to hurt them is a little spot on their back.
It's like, and we lost Vinny again.
Well, it's neat because like Doctor Who isn't about like beating the shit out of people. It's about like using your wit and intelligence to like overcome an obstacle for the most part.
Reverse polarity screwdriver thing.
Mm-hmm. Which I like. That's what really gravitated me to be, because I'm like, this isn't like the norm where everything is like, you know, you got to be flashy and like, you know, violence all over the place and stuff like that. And then we lost Adam.
We lost Adam and Nelson.
Damn.
Oh shit! On their own stream.
I know. We really are an invasive species. Sorry,
I know,
sorry,
right?
It's Doctor Who. It's lost any interest now.
Yeah,
it
has.
It's so soy. It's a black hole. It'll suck everything up.
Oh yeah. Well, I always thought like it was a bit sort of corny-ish because like the British sort of budget was low, and so they had like aliens that you could tell it was just a dude with some netting shoved on him. But like, but now they've gone really soy. So not only is it looking like quite cheesy, like the British series usually do, because they're not going to put a lot in the budget, but it's going to be soy cheese. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Well, that's because it's basic. BBC is basically their PBS. So
Well, it sucks because it's like British science fiction now is unwatchable. Like it went from being the best, like in the 70s and 80s. Like, sorry, but James Bond was probably the pinnacle of like espionage movies and all that. Like, it was the best. And then somehow something took over, and suddenly like all the men started getting effeminate. All of like everything, everybody hated white men, and like all that. And it's like, dude, you know what? Like Albion literally means the white lands, like the people, you know, like you got a problem with white people, you probably shouldn't go to England. I'm sorry.
That's like I was watching the Games Award, and like every game is like got a female lead. It's like, what the hell is happening? Like, I get that, you know, we like you know, some games are awesome, they have female leads, but every fucking game with a female lead, like that's a bit much.
And it's always like a black lesbian too with the mental illness haircut.
Yeah. Well, it's all about soying the like masculine man. It's like if back in the 80s you went on Street Fighter and started playing Chun-Li, you'd be called a pussy bitch because she had the easiest moves and all this shit. And so and so you'd man up and you'd rather be Ken or Ryu or maybe fucking Eonda, whatever you like. Yeah, but they didn't like that because it's like, oh no, men are thinking that the Ryu or Ken, and so now we'll just put women on it.
Well, it's just the thing is like not only that, but like Chun-Li in the original Street Fighter 2 was actually the weakest character in the game. She
no, she won't.
Yeah,
no,
they
she
had
won't.
they had to add other moves. They had to give her a fireball and everything because she was easy to be destroyed by all the Shotos. Yeah, she was the weakest character in the game. She did the least damage. She was the fastest character and she had the easiest moves to pull off.
No, you're wrong there. She was one of the best characters because all you do is hop around, boot them in the head a few times, get them in the corner, and just do your power kick. And it was one of them where she was fast in that, and I always thought when she was fighting against Zengrief's like a 6 foot, like 4 fucking
Russian wrestler.
Yeah, bear wrestler. And she can take one of them like power bombs.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't not only that, but like you look at their stats and it's like Chun-Li, 5'2", 110 pounds, you know, and then it's like Zangief, 6'4", 312 pounds. It's like,
Yeah.
Nailed it. He'd snap her in two.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All the henchmen are freaking
Twitters.
Twitters because it's like they're like Twitter bots, you know.
Damn. No, that's a Doctor Who I wouldn't mind watching.
Funny.
Dr. Screw.
Oh, that guy Christopher Judge, Kratos, said he won best performance.
Nice boy.
Al Pacino.
His speech
gave
went
him
a
the
little
award.
long too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So afterwards they had to like super hurry up, like some of the guy like saying stuff afterwards.
God, what? Why isn't he in more movies, man? After Stargate SG-1, I was like, what the hell? Like I saw Jason Momoa in like almost everything after Stargate.
Oh, is that
Atlantis.
the guy? Is that Teal'c or whatever?
Yeah, that's Teal'c.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, boy.
Nice.
Boy.
Yeah, like
I need to play more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's part Cherokee as well. You know that?
oh damn. And he's like a big dude, so he could have been like an action star. Like,
Oh yeah. Dude, Hollywood wastes so many fucking talented people. Either they don't play ball or they don't fit in their certain bullshit that they're trying to do, certain narratives.
yeah.
It's a fucking joke.
Not only that, I heard they canceled Wonder Woman 3. So I mean,
I heard that too.
like it or lump it. I mean, that's a pretty. I think we all saw that coming. But what sucks about it is that Gal Gadot is not getting any younger. Like, she, in my opinion, like I initially hated her as Wonder Woman. I was like, she's a wiry little bitch, you know, whatever. But she won me over, man. She's wholesome as fuck, and she can kick major ass in that. So it's like, give me like a God of War, like a Greek mythology thing or whatever, and I would be all over that shit as a game with her.
Well, Batman is in that. They speaking of like DC, they did the what is it? The Batman Arkham or not
Asylum.
Yeah, the Arkham Asylum, but it's the guys that did those games is doing the Suicide Squad game.
The Suicide Squad takes out
takes out the Justice
Man.
League. And Batman is in it, and that's going to be that's Kevin Conroy's last
Wow.
outing or whatever.
Wow. Dude, yeah, that's crazy, man. All that stuff is, but we're gonna talk about this stuff tomorrow on the Friday stream too, because I'm gonna bring up some of that. Because me personally, I think that Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 is canceled. I don't think they're gonna scrap Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
I hope not.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Come on, man. They're keeping Cavill. Why not keep her?
Right, but that's the rumor right now. They're saying that Man of Steel 2 is canceled too. No, it's not. Again, they made too many announcements. They moved too many things in order to make this work. You can't just be like, oh yeah, now we're just gonna scrap it all. No, that's not how that works. It's not how those contracts work either.
Well, honestly, so in my opinion, and this is just mine, but like I thought Christopher Reeve's Superman was probably the best Superman ever. Like of all the renditions, I still like his the best because he's gentle. He's basically like a benevolent god, and that was always my impression of what Superman was.
Right.
And when I saw like the dark, brooding, like neck snapping, like angry, I was like, what the fuck is like? That's not Superman.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
again,
Superman.
I do think that Henry also he's got that about him too. That the Christopher Reeves thing, he has that quality because if you've seen him too, like how he is with people, how he's with fans, some of the other acting he's done, like he has that quality. I think it's the material he was given was shit. Period. That's it. I think he could still be a fantastic Superman. I like his look. I think it works. It was a bad direction from Snyder.
Jesus, what's with the Doctor Who quote?
Oh shit!
Exterminate!
Except instead of exterminating the baby, he exterminates them, and just the baby's the only thing left.
Yeah. Like when they do that shitty cheesy effect where they show the skeleton in the blue light, and then there's just a fetus that's floating there for a few seconds and then splats on the ground.
Speaking of fetuses, they showed Death Stranding 2.
Oh god! Did you get into that one? Because
I liked it.
I didn't even know it came out the first game.
Yep.
So I don't like most modern games. I find them kind of terrible from game design perspective, and I enjoy watching them as movies, but I have no desire to play them because they seem to have
the only issue that I had with it is it's like you're like, hey, walk here, but carry all this cargo with you, and you have like you have a weight limit and stuff. So it like sometimes it's like very boring, but other times it's interesting because you have these enemies that you have to like walk by like really sneakily, and sometimes the only way to get where you need to go is to go through those areas. And
I just watch like I modern games I'll just watch on YouTube for free. Like I don't want to spend $60 on a game that I'm not going to play more than once, and I'll just watch. And like I've watched through God of War, I've watched through Death Stranding, I've watched through pretty much every modern game that's come out. Like the last game that I bought that I really enjoyed was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, but like the story and stuff was pretty interesting. The whole bridges thing and all that stuff. But I was like, I don't like. I'm watching. I think I was watching Maximilian playing it, and I'm just like, how are you having fun, man? Like you're using like your thumbsticks to walk. Like this is a walking simulator.
Wait,
you're like walking through Greenland. Like okay.
I got a question. So you haven't played Spider-Man either?
No, I actually I had a friend work on Spider-Man, so I played the shit out of that one.
Okay. I was gonna say that was one of the fucking best games I think came out.
And I replayed it like 3 times too. And I've done like I did the 100% achievement and all that stuff.
Wow.
But
I just never beat it on the highest difficulty.
My only gripe for that game is I hated the Miles Morales and Mary Jane bits. Like if they were optional things that I could do, I'm sure I would have fun. But they were like, hey, let's break up the gameplay. The shit you were enjoying, swinging through the city, doing powerful shit. Yeah, now you're a weak little girl who has to do stealth mode with a camera. Son of a bitch.
Though
well,
I will
at
say
least it was super short those parts.
I will say though that is the best representation of Miles Morales in that. I don't know how he is in his own game that they did with him.
Yeah, I never played it either.
But just the base game, that's
I felt bad for him, man. His dad was awesome, Jefferson Davis. Yeah, I loved the story. I loved the representation of my family in that game. I thought they did an amazing job of capturing my family in that. There's nothing like swinging around Fisk Tower, but
that opening was amazing.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
I love the you take me down and I'm holding back a tide that will destroy this city. And then he gets arrested, and lo and behold, shit hits the fan, and the worst of the worst comes out. And it was like, hey, Fisk was right, man.
Yep.
Man,
Dude,
but
that was good shit.
yeah. But like what made it fun though was like I loved web swinging. I loved the fights. I loved the moment to moment, like what they call the core game loop, the combat. Loved it. But like a lot of these modern games, like you're just watching like the gameplay gets in the way of the story almost. Like it's like you're just playing to get to the like here's a banal piece of gameplay, like row a boat or walk down this hallway or like continue walking while the characters are having dialogue. And I'm like, this is not gameplay. This is moving a thumbstick. And that pisses me off. Like there's so much like to me the best narrative developed game that was a perfect marriage of storytelling and gameplay was Half-Life 2. That game, you played the story. You didn't sit back and passively watch the story. You were part of it. And so many game designers don't want to do that. They, a lot of them are like just Hollywood wannabes, and they just want to spoon feed these stories to you. And it's like, yeah, great. You got this amazing, marginally interactive CG film, but I'm not paying $60 or $70 now for it. And I'm not going to freaking play it more than once. Like, give me something that I can go back to.
Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I think like Metal Gear 4 where he's gone real old and that was one of them games where it was more sort of like storyline. You was like basically just moving Snake around the corner and then it was into a cutscene and then it was
I was working in game development at the time, and we were playing that game as a couple of coworkers and I were playing that game in the common room. We had one of those big projectors and we're playing the game. And the thing that sucked about the game was exactly what you just said. The story, it was all about the story. There was a point where somebody put down the controller because there was like a 30-minute cutscene and the controller powered off. And then we forgot who was playing the game.
Thinking I used to like his mate when like he was killing off these crazy bitches and he'd go, yeah, she thought she was hearing wolves, but she wasn't, and that. And then he'd explain sort of backstory how she became bat crazy, and that. It was like every one of that. It was like, the like acting and all was a bit sort of like shoddy-ish, but like it suited the game though because like you just kill like some crazy bitch that like a backstory used to be. It was quite tragic and all, but like after you killed it, you soon as you killed it, you'd hear this dude go, yeah. She was some crazy bitch. She thought she was hearing wolves and all this shit. And he'd probably like go and slag her off. Saying shit like, oh yeah, she thought she could fuck you up, Snake, but you showed her and all that shit.
Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible.
That was one of the highlights of that game for me. Was hearing what he was going to say about whichever craze, because I think there was 3 of them, and they was all like crazy in some way.
Nelson. Apparently, he's saying that he's only going to be able to communicate to us through these banners.
Yes. Well, guys, I do got to get going though. That was a fucking late last night. It's almost 1 now. But this was a blast. I mean, shit. It sucks that Nelson, everything was shit in the bed tonight, but I had a good time, and
thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, Nelson. I mean, I hope everyone does have a good night. I'm headed off, but tomorrow, we'll hang out on my stream, as long as everyone's internet is working.
Hell yeah!
What time are you doing your thing tomorrow?
Friday. It's always 5 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only about an hour anyway, and then Yeah, Sunday is the longer one. But yeah, we'll hit some stuff. We'll talk some superhero shit, some weirdo shit, gaming stuff. Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I just heard my own cackle echo in somebody's background. I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, all right, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have a good one, everyone.
Yeah.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, everyone's left. Don't know if Nelson is going to come back and finish the stream.
Took off.
Yeah, they took off. They just all left like when Vinny left. Vinny was like the Fonz. As soon as he left, everyone was like, yeah, let's get out of here.
Everybody took off. Damn.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, you've cut out and all. It could be your mic settings. Have you ever had a look at your mic settings?
As soon as what?
I said it could be your mic settings that you're like cutting out a bit, but because you have your like cables or whatever. Sometimes. Hey, there we go though. Yeah, we're hearing something now though. We're hearing music, so you might get your stream copyrighted. But yeah, I don't know what music that's playing. So, yeah, you get copyrighted if you're not too careful. Although it is sounding a bit.
I'm sending you a message in the private chat, Jens. I don't know if you can hear.
Yeah, I could hear you then. So you were sending a private message. Yeah. But yeah, you're cutting out a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think.
Hello. It's sounding like your mic, because, or it could be your connection. But no, I don't think, because it's not sounding like a connection. Because, but yeah, because your mic's sounding good now, right? What mic are you using? Have you got it connected into your PC, or is it a laptop, like built-in one? Because if you've got a built-in mic, or maybe, yeah, maybe use your phone, because your phone will have a decent mic. Because it could be your laptop or PC mic that's a bit fucked, and it's cutting out. Where if you try like your phone, just like you can easily just go on the stream with your phone. Your mic on your phone might be working all right. Because earlier on when we was talking, your mic was all right, but you was on your phone. Yes, so can't air out.
If you can hear me, man, look in the private chat, dude. I don't think I can keep.
Right. Yeah. I've seen in the chat. Yeah. Well, I was saying, why don't you come back on your phone, because your phone mic, that'll probably work better. Or if you're having trouble, just end the stream sort of thing, you know, where it says end stream. Because you have to end the stream when you're streaming. Or else you're just going to like record like nothing sort of thing. Dead air. Yeah.
Okay, I sent a private message in the
Yeah.
private chat. So yeah.
Right, yeah.
I wanted to jam with you, but it.
Yeah, your mic's a bit folks. I say, man, yeah, you might be best off using your phone for your mic. Yeah. If you're ending the stream, you gotta end it. You know, like there'll be an option where it says end stream, and you just click on that. You know, to end the stream. Before you know you leave, you have to end the stream before you leave.